Good morning, Raptor Freak Alexey Ots here. Sunday morning, the Raptors did it. Oh my gosh, they did it. Monique, superfan Monique, you were right. You said let's get them both, Phoenix and Denver, in Denver and Phoenix, and we did it. Oh my gosh, what an amazing game last night. Banana Bread 10, I see you and Tom Duke and a couple of people here already. Let's go. What a game. Yes, Banana Bread 10. So much fun. Makes totally worth staying up later than normal, and then this all screwed up feeling I have this morning of being, it's like, what, it's 11 o'clock already, what, why is it 11 o'clock already this time? This DST spring forward, we lost an hour, and now look, oh my gosh. And these guys just flew from Denver to LA last night. Yes, all over their Instagram last night. LA, Los Angeles, touchdown last night around 6 hours ago. Delano, Yuta, Scotty, Precious, all the guys are in Los Angeles today, and they got a day off to practice and rest and hopefully acclimate their bodies to the time change. Because like I said, this weekend there's some fishy shit. I'm telling you, we go on a back-to-back, Phoenix, Denver, we're mile high. We execute, we get that. Now the time has changed, and now we've lost an hour, and also we have to go another time zone over to the Pacific time zone to be in Los Angeles to play the Lakers tomorrow. And then this is the screwy thing too, and I'm going to talk about this week, is the Lakers, their beats are kind of like this. They're playing Phoenix tonight. Yeah, they're in Phoenix tonight playing the Suns that we just played, and then they're going to come back home and play us tomorrow. So they're going to be on the second night of a back-to-back tomorrow night, which is great. I love that. And then on Wednesday, we stay in LA and we play the Clippers here in LA at home. But the Lakers get to leave after Monday's game and go to Minnesota and play the Timberwolves on Wednesday night. So they're jumping the time zones two ahead of us. Yeah, before we get to jump all the way back, we have to come all the way back from Los Angeles against the Clippers on Wednesday night and play the Lakers on Friday night here in Toronto. Meanwhile, the Lakers can travel from LA to Minnesota on Wednesday and get halfway across that time change, and then on Friday come to Toronto. That to me is so screwed up. They take any of the kind of travel, disadvantage and put it on us instead of the Lakers, because they make us both travel back at the same time. Anyway, we'll talk more about that as the week comes on. That's just, I'm looking ahead right now and this week, and that's the one thing that bugs me so much, is that the Lakers get to go to Minnesota on Wednesday while we have to stay in LA and play the Clippers, and they get a head start coming over across the time zones and fixing their jet lag before we do. And that's a messed up thing. Tom Duke, good morning. Let's freaking go. Raptors young squad is so awesome. And guess what? That nugget of gold, it ain't got no curse on it. There's no Aztec gold in there, and they're taking it down to the pawn shop. You know they're taking that nugget of gold from yesterday down the pawn shop. Cowboy Pop and the Raptor are going to get a nice little payday from finding that gold in their yard yesterday. Oh yeah, we'll have the continuation tomorrow morning. Oh yeah, Banana Bread Tan saying Pascal did this thing. Boucher stepped up, Barnes stepped up, Thaddeus Young stepped up. I love the four names you just mentioned. In fact, these are like, we had a three-prong attack last night. It was the steadiness that we were talking about yesterday, a lot about Pascal Siakam and the different levels of his game. And when we saw the level just above him just being okay. And that was last night, because he actually shot a really good percentage. Like I said, if he shoots over 50%, that's a good game for Pascal. He was 12 for 22 last night, 33 points, 7 assists, 5 rebounds, 2 steals. Just a great all-around game by Pascal as the leader. But really, the guys who really put us over the top against the Nuggets last night were guys like Thaddeus Young, guys like Scotty Barnes, and Chris Boucher. Oh my gosh. All right, let's talk about Chris Boucher now. Listen, this guy went above and beyond for having 2 games where he only got 12 minutes in the first half of the last 2 games and didn't even sniff the court hardly at all in the second half against Phoenix or San Antonio. Chris came in and played heavy minutes last night, and he was a superstar. You are not lying, Banana Bread Tan. The fact that this man went out there and got 9 offensive rebounds last night is insane. Like, that dude was worming his way in between the Nuggets and the basket and getting those putbacks and just getting the ball back out there. Great job, Trey Boucher. Great job. Trebuchet. What amazing effort last night. I love you so much for what you did last night. You hit that three. You did some amazing big shots and key times last night and helped us in key momentum. And man, Chris Boucher, you are a badass. Like, that is the kind of game you should have off the bench. You can get 20 points still, buddy. You can still be a scorer like Kevin Durant, but you need to do it within the confines of what we need you to do as you roll off the bench with rebounding, block shots, and then you're going to get some points too also. You'll get those open threes from time to time, Chris. And I love what you did last night. You had a fantastic game. And not only that, you got the post-game interview, and you knocked it out of the park when you started bringing up Brittany Griner. Yes, Grenier. Yes, that woman needs to be having more spotlight put on her for her situation in Russia right now. This is the thing. Things are not equal in this world. Women's basketball, the women's players, to really get a payday, sometimes they have to go play in weird places like Russia. And that's where this poor lady is right now. And since this war broke out, she's been in jail and she needs to be freed. And that's why we need more attention on her. And that's what Chris was saying after the game. Kudos to you, sir, for using your position to get a message out there and more broadcast on national television in Canada. Yeah, that was really huge. That may be the biggest assist of the night last night, Chris. Good job. And then, all right, let's talk about our guy number 4. Oh my gosh. Oh my God. Listen, wait a second. I have no idea how quick. This is like an exponential growth rate with his development, with his experience, with his ability, with his parameters of what is possible. This is an exponential growth rate. And we're seeing Scotty do a little bit of what he's done all year, but a little bit more intense, a little bit more directed and purposeful. And it's badass. Like, seriously, y'all, look at him bully them down there. Like, he did this one thing where he brought the ball up the court, he read the court, and he jumped in the lane, and there was the defender between him and Jokic behind him, but he was smart and shot the shot over the smaller defender and made it. Listen, Scotty is a badass. He is a real deal superstar. We saw a little bit of all of it last night, whether it's the three-point shooting along with the attack in the rim and that dunk he had. Oh my gosh, that's a picture for today, is that dunk he got, that breakaway down the lane, and then yeah, this dude is badass. And not only that, this is the thing. He's a two-way player. He's doing things just as important on the offensive end as the defensive end. And it's the steals, the things like that. That lineup that we had in the fourth quarter was very special. The synergy between Barnes, Banton, Boucher, Birch, and Young. That's the crazy thing. We had some killer bees going on in the fourth quarter last night, and they shut down the Nuggets. They only let them score 16 points in the last quarter last night, and that is a huge accomplishment because the Suns and the Nuggets are both good offensive teams. They're really good teams, like at scoring. And for some reason, this has come back again. We saw this at the beginning of the year at times, where we can take long periods and stretches of the game where we absolutely shut the other team down. That our defense is so sealed, so tight, rotating so well, communicating so well that the other team just can't fucking score. And we did it again last night against the Nuggets with Jokic on the floor. It doesn't even fucking matter that Jokic was there. We sealed them out. They couldn't do jack shit in the fourth quarter, and that's how we won the game last night. Is that defense in the fourth quarter was stifling. The Nuggets couldn't get no baskets and nothing going, and we outscored them and beat them by 12. And this is the thing. This game was similar to the Phoenix game. We were really kind of dominating the other team on the down low most of the game. And then at the end, they try to turn it on in the fourth quarter. They try and come back. They get a little bit of a lead. And then we come back with a run and just overwhelm them. And we take it to the win at the end. And we did it even more impressively than we did against Phoenix because we busted it open a little earlier than the last 3 minutes of the game. We busted it open around 5 minutes ago in the game, and we had to continue to hold that lead and weather them from doing stuff. But they couldn't get jack shit going. Like, really, seriously, that lineup, Banton may not be scoring, but he is definitely playing the right kind of defense to be out there in crunch time. And it was funny because Pascal said at the end of the game, am I going to get back in the game? Because because he wasn't in that crew, and he got to sit a majority of the fourth quarter and didn't have to be in there to help us win. That is amazing. If you had told me we wouldn't have Fred last night, which I was surprised, and first, he's not that hurt, y'all. Remember, this was a back-to-back. It was the second night of a back-to-back. He's coming back from an injury, so they had to rest him for one of these games, and this was the game. He'll be fine. He'll probably be there tomorrow for the LA Lakers game. So this is the thing. If you told me that we weren't going to have Fred, still no OG, Gary Trent Jr. was going to be in a slump again all of a sudden last night, and Pascal didn't play most of the fourth quarter, and that we won by 12, I think you're fucking crazy. Because that doesn't add up in my head as far as the calculations. But you know what? It did add up because of things like Chris Boucher stepping up, Scotty Barnes being so dominant, and then the rest of the bench just being super competent and stuff like that. There's people like Kem Birch, Precious Achua, Thaddeus Young. These guys all contributed in major big ways and made winning plays after winning plays left and right, whether it's tipping balls, keeping them alive, deflections, steals, all kinds of stuff we did really well at last night. In fact, we had 23 offensive rebounds last night, guys. I think that's the most we've had all year, and we chose to have it against Jokic and the Nuggets. I love that. Banana Bread Tan, you are so right with this. And Thaddeus, I can't understate what Thaddeus is doing right now. I did not like him at first when he first showed up. He did not seem to be fitting in. He was missing free throws, missing easy shots. But now, oh my gosh, he had some really crucial baskets last night at a key time to keep us going. And he was a huge part of that defense with steals. He had a really good steal strip on DeMarcus Cousins late in the game that was so badass. It was kind of like, yeah, you have a win in your hands, DeMarcus, and we're just going to take it right out of your hands. That was the embodiment of what the team did to the Nuggets, was what Thaddeus Young did to the DeMarcus Cousins underneath the basket. Strip the ball right from him, take it and run with it, baby. And that was such a beautiful sight to see. Yes, Banana Bread Tan saying Precious with the corner threes. I mean, seriously, this guy is automatic. He has a great mechanics. He has a great form. If he's in rhythm and he's stepping into the shot right, I expect him to make it. And he hit some big ones. I mean, 4 3-pointers last night. That is his career high for any game in the NBA ever. And listen to this. He didn't even attempt or make any 3-pointers in his rookie year for the Miami Heat last year. And now you look at what he's doing with us. If that is not a stark testament to how the Raptors run their team and get the most out of their players compared to what Miami did with Precious last year and what we're doing with him this year, and how much he's developed just under us in like not even a whole year compared to what they did with him last year. That's what I'm saying. And the same kind of thing with Gary Trent Jr. with Portland. They didn't develop him or get any of what we're getting out of him this year either. And that is just a real stark, very apparent way of seeing how the difference is between the Toronto Raptors and other teams, is those two players right there. And they would never have given Precious this chance or this opportunity in some ways. And he's getting it here and he's killing it. He is killing it. I love Precious's game so much right now. Like, let me look at him a little bit closer on the box score. He had to start last night. The starting lineup was really crazy. Like, who would have thought he was going to start Armani Brooks last night? He didn't do too bad. I kind of don't like having him in the lineup, though, because I really like the positionless big size that we had. And we didn't sacrifice playmaking or the ability to distribute the ball by not having a true point guard out there. That Scotty Barnes had 10 assists last night. Pascal Siakam had 7 assists, and Delano Banton had 5. So our 3 playmakers that were still in the game, they all did really good at distributing the ball. The ball movement was fantastic. The synergy between Pascal and Scotty continues to look amazing. We saw that baseball pass, that Kyle Lowry full court pass by Scotty Barnes to Pascal Siakam. That was a beautiful thing. And listen, there's more of that to come. It's just that when you're a rookie, you don't get the green light to do crazy ass shit, because you really have to make sure you make it, because you're going to not be able to be allowed to do it if you show that you can't do it correctly. And Scotty could have been maybe doing these long passes, these football passes that Kyle used to do all along. It's just that he had to get to the level of confidence. And like, this is the situation where I can really do this. But we should expect Scotty to be this kind of full court passer, because we just seen some pinpoint accuracy with his arm. Like if he's a quarterback, that man just threw a perfect pass to Pascal Siakam and let him spin it around and put it in. In fact, I missed that play because I went to the other room to get a drink, and I didn't think, well, they would. It's a break. It's a normal time in the game where they have to get the ball back up the court. I didn't realize they got up the court so quick, and that's what had happened. I heard something like, "Oh, Raptor score." I was like, "Wait, that's too quick." And then I came back and I saw the highlight. He was like, "Oh, that's why," because Scotty launched the ball all the way down the court, and Pascal just laid it in. That was an amazing play. And in fact, that may be the most impressive play to me in some ways that Scotty did last night, because it's showing that he's going to have a full court vision as a point guard forward, and that we should expect some of the Kyle Lowry factor that we had in the last couple of years of being able to get the ball up that quick with that kind of accuracy from Scotty now. And that is such a great development. That is very new. That's a new one. There's been new ones. I'm telling y'all, every time we see Scotty play, a new one is shown to us. And the other thing is, once again, Scotty can have a direct linkage to us getting a W over a team we weren't supposed to win, and this helps his rookie of the year, favor. That he should be very much considered more so now because we beat Phoenix and Denver, and he had a huge part in it. And this time it was a little bit more with the offense. He had to hit some shots late in the game to help keep us going. Because once again, I said, like, that lineup that we had out there in the fourth quarter, there was no regular Raptor go-to guy in that lineup as far as Pascal, Fred, OG, Gary even wasn't out there. So you had, who was going to score? It was Scotty. It was Chris. It was Thaddeus. It was that kind of stuff. Even Delano had that nice little bank lay-in that he made, the one shot he made. They kept the scoring going at a time when that lineup possibly could have stagnated offensively, but they actually outscored the Nuggets. They outplayed them on defense and outscored them the other end. And it's that length. And I saw a comment that y'all put on here already that I'm about to get to, and I want to read because it's very interesting. Banana Bread Tan saying the bench has been getting better. Yeah, like the output of what they're doing now is insane. They got like 43 points off the bench last night. Like, that's insane, guys. We've been struggling just to get 20 points off the bench in different ways. And this is the weird thing too, is we had guys out and we shifted good players like Precious into our starting lineup, and we still got super good bench production. A lot of that is Chris Boucher with the 21, but getting 9 from Thad, 8 from Kem. Kem was a lot better offensively last night, and he didn't start. That's the crazy thing. He didn't really play a whole lot in the first half, but in the second half, he was very key and important and did a lot of great things for us in that defensive unit that shut them down with the 16 points. For Nuggets. That's all they scored. That's amazing, y'all, because they were scoring like big numbers, like 38 in the second quarter, 36 in the third, and then we shut them down at 16 in the fourth quarter. That's insane. 16 points in the fourth quarter by the Denver Nuggets when they're trying to win and come back from behind. That means we played really good defense. And that's something real special. And that's something that's going to win us a championship. If we can replicate this kind of defense in high pressure situations and really beat teams down, we can beat anybody. This is the future. Positionless basketball with the length at every position. You see 24 shot clocks violations on the other team because they can't get an open shot. They can't work it around our huge long length all around. And that is a badass thing. This is so cool to see because we're going to break the game. The NBA is going to be broken. And these last 2 games that we saw the Raptors play are proving it. That these are top teams all year. They've been killing everybody else, but then they come and see a new anomaly, the Raptors, and people are saying, like, what the fuck is this Raptor team today? They're like, they don't understand us. They do not, they think we're weird still, and they don't understand how we're doing this without a center and what we're doing. We're breaking the NBA and we're doing it our way, and I love it. I love it because next year we're going to have all our shit together and we're going to do this on the regular, like with real determination and purpose. That's what's going to happen next year. This year we're kind of messing around learning it, but we still win games like this. And they played, oh my gosh, I want to say they're messing around because they really did put in an amazing effort last night. They left it all on the court. Their energy is fantastic. The fact that they can do such intense defensive coverages where they are full court pressing, they're doing all kinds of crazy trapping, and then they have to get back really fast is a testament to how hard these guys are working. because other teams don't want that kind of assignment. Other teams will groan to the coach that, oh my gosh, we have to do it this way. Come on, why can't we just come back? Why do we have to press them? No, these guys are bought into what we're doing and they're seeing the results and they love it and they're just eating it up. They want to continue to do this out there because they see the success and how badass it makes them win. Tom Duke is saying Barnes is something else. Glad Gary didn't have to get another 40 to get the W. Yeah, like I said, if you had told me that Gary was only going to get 8 points last night and that he wasn't going to be a super factor last night, and we were going to win by 12, I would have been like, how? What happened in the game to allow this to happen? Because like Gary was cold once again. He did have a couple of shots that were big. And I really like what he did early because he was contributing even though he didn't make his shots. He was finding a way to get to the free throw line. Like that one time when he got fouled shooting a three and he got 3 free throws, that was huge. There was different things like that Gary was doing. He didn't play as many minutes in the end. He was 2 for 13, 1 for 6 from 3-point land. But, he had 3 rebounds. He had 2 steals. He was involved. He was, he wasn't hurting us on defense when he was out there. And, like I said in the past, if he's not having a good shooting game, then he doesn't, necessarily play at the end of the game. We let other guys play, and he has no problem with that. You saw how happy he was at the end of the game and like smiling, and everybody was so happy at the end of the game. It was so fun to see how hyped the Raptor bench was in the last couple minutes of the game and how much they were just going crazy. And that Denver group, the crowd, the fans, they were really disappointed and they were a little bit like shocked, very shocked, because they fully expected their team to come back and win this game at the end because it was a close game once again. It's like we're running side by side with Phoenix, running side by side with Denver. And then at the end of the game, we outvet a vet team, a team that's a playoff team, a team that's proven, and we are an unknown. And then what the fuck? Why is this team beating this team in the crunch time with the vet stuff? Why? Because this team's younger and this team hasn't been together as long. Why? Well, maybe it's because of our talent and our game plan. And what we're doing is really sound. And you guys can't do fucking shit against it. And to a degree, that we did do what I was kind of saying yesterday. We're letting Jokic have whatever he wants and don't let anybody else on the team do anything. And to a degree, we did pretty good with that. There were a couple guys on the Nuggets that kind of got going, and that was that Highland guy. He was really annoying last night. Highland, once again, 17 points, 5 of 7 3-point shooting. And then, a couple guys off the starting lineup, Barton in particular. Barton and Highland were really all they had other than Jokic, and that's it. They don't do a whole lot without other scores. Like they needed Murray. They needed their other guys last night for sure. Let's see. Raymond Jacob, this is the comment I want to talk about. Yeah, the Raps were monstars. You know what? This is really kind of looking like that. And we don't want to face the Looney Tunes crew someday or somewhat that's got our kryptonite. But our team does look like the Monstars to a degree. Like in that fourth quarter stretch that we're talking about, that badass defensive stretch, all of those guys are about the same height. Like you have Delano at point guard, Scotty Barnes, Chris Boucher, Kem Birch, and Thaddeus Young out there all at the same time. You switch them around. Do what you want. You make it a little bit of a different look when you have Birch on you compared to Banton, but the length is the same. You still got to shoot over that tall grass. And that tall grass ain't easy to get an open shot over when it's active and it's coming at you over and over again. And we saw, listen, that was badass. Chris got one of his patented 3-point shot blocks when in the corner. When he did that to that guy, that was so humiliating that he came over and he went bam and put it into the stands. And that's the classic Chris Boucher badass block, like on a 3-point shot when they think they got an open shot and they're trying to shoot it. And he's like, no, you don't. You're like my little cousin in the driveway. And I'm like 2 feet taller than you. Bam. It's so good. But yeah, they did look like the Monstars. They looked really imposing. They looked like the physicality and the length of the Raptors once again is a huge strength. And teams aren't realizing how to deal with it correctly right now, which is great. We don't want them to catch up too quick. We want to keep doing this. Tom Duke's saying Precious's threes make him happy. Yes, we all want more of this happiness, Precious. Keep bombing threes. Keep doing what you're doing because we love your game. We love what you're doing, and we're so happy you're here. Guys, really think about this. If we had traded straight up Kyle Lowry for Precious Achua. Would you have taken that deal? Seriously. Like, think about the future. Think about what Kyle has left in the tank, and think about the prospect of Precious Achua. That, like I've been saying all year, Goran was bullshit. It just involved to make the money equal. That in reality, the trade was Masai made a trade for Kyle Lowry for Precious Achua. And Precious is a badass thing that we got back that is worth, in some ways, to me. I know people maybe you're like, you're crazy. That's the greatest Raptor of all time. I'm talking about with the future, the prospect of the future, and what's to come for these two athletes that I'm talking about right here, Kyle Lowry and Precious Achua. Which one would you rather have on your team right now? Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So it's like, forget about the whole Goran Dragic debacle, tragic, whatever. Think about that. If it had been a straight up deal, Precious for Kyle, I would have taken that in some ways, just because Precious could be a superstar. Really, really looks like it right now. Banana Bread Tan saying also the Barnes and Thaddeus bench mob has mad future. I think it gets better with Flynn returning. Yeah, I can't really put Barnes on the bench mob because he is a starter, but Thaddeus could be the leader of the bench mob. And listen, I'm really impressed because Thaddeus is doing some things right now. Now that he's comfortable with the team and he understands the system, he's really sound within it. But he's adding on top of it his veteran expertise, his time accrued with like experience and knowing what to do situationally in different ways. And it's badass. Like that lob to Kem Birch was badass. Like those two guys on the break. Kem Birch is getting the pass thrown in from Thaddeus and he's getting the lob dunk. That's fantastic. You know, that kind of stuff is great. And like he did get some key baskets late in the game when we needed him. He was involved defensively, like that steal on Cousins. I was saying Thad Young is doing veteran stuff on a team where we don't have as many veteran guys. But it's crazy because the stuff that Thad does, Scotty does too. Like he's doing some of this veteran stuff inherently. And that's why I keep saying I really want us to do this as fans, is that Scotty Barnes is a rookie his first year, and that's it. He's a rookie now, but next year we're going to call him a vet. That Scotty Barnes has deserved, that nobody in this fucking league gets this most of the time. This is very rare. Maybe Magic got it way back in the day, or Larry, but I want to say that Scotty Barnes went from rookie to veteran after his rookie year. Next year, we're going to call him a vet because he plays like a vet and he deserves it. He's playing like a veteran, a guy like he's played in the league for 10 years. The experience and the decision making in the moment, split second stuff is like a veteran. That's why Scotty Barnes is not, he's going to be a rookie this year, but next year we're calling him a vet. He's going to be a 2-year vet. And he's not going to be this normal like guy that has to grow into becoming a vet, because he will be a vet next year. That's what we're going to call him. As fans, we need to give him that respect because he's already there. He's already there. We could call him a vet right now. We could have called him a vet this weekend, starting this weekend, because of the way he's playing. And I really like what Raymond's saying on the next comment. Keep this up, Scotty, and Rookie of the Year is in the bag. I really believe this. Like, we had no business winning these last 2 games. Everybody in the NBA was like, listen, these Vegas odds and the way the prognosticators have been looking at us, they're wrong. They don't understand what's going on here. So it's going to be so fun. You think we're going to beat the Lakers on Monday? You damn right we're going to beat the Lakers on Monday. We can beat the Suns and Nuggets like this. Hell yeah, we're going to go to the crypt or whatever fucking rename that they called it this year, and we're going to beat the crap out of LeBron and them. Yeah, we are. Oh my gosh, I'm licking my chops about this Laker game tomorrow night. That we're on stride right now. LeBron's got to be worried. Like, he's got to see that we just messed up teams that mess him up easily. And now we're messing up his bullies. The bullies that bully him right now, we're bullying them. So we're going to come in to the Lakers Greater Western Forum, or whatever you're calling it right now, crypt, and we will go in there and we will put you, we will make you look like the crypt keeper after the game. That's right. We're going to tire you out so much, we're going to dehydrate your body, and LeBron's going to look in the corner like he's like, welcome for another terrorizing story. The Crypt Keeper. Yeah, we're going to make you look like a Crypt Keeper. The way we're going to run your old asses up and down the court tomorrow. Yeah, you're going to look like dehydrated fruit, like apricot on the side of the court after the end of the game. That's what's going to happen to the Lakers, these old guys. Oh my gosh. You want to see, listen, we are like the antithesis of how the Lakers play. The Lakers have Stanley Johnson. He's basically their energy guy. He's their guy that does everything for them energy wise. We are all energy, and we're going to improve that. We're going to show them how to work in a basketball game. We are going to outwork the hell out of the Lakers. We're going to embarrass them. In fact, I want to see us beat them by 20 or 30 points tomorrow night. I really think that is how we should do it. Scotty, you want to be Rookie of the Year? You got the brightest platform tomorrow. You are going to be in LA against LeBron, and people will be watching to see what you do. And this may be a head-to-head matchup. I know you're going to try and do some of the stuff you've been doing this year, whether it's backing down Luka Doncic, going at Trae Young, taking it to Nikola Jokic. Yeah, you're going to go at LeBron. I know you will, because you want that highlight of you making a basket over him, you backing him down and putting it over him. Yeah, I know you're going to go at LeBron, and that's going to be fantastic. I want to see some highlights where you specifically mess LeBron up. Because if you do that, what Raymond Jacob just said is really, really going to be highly probable. You go on that high stage of the LA Lakers arena and you mess up LeBron, Scotty Barnes, you go get that Rookie of the Year award. That's what I'm saying. And you are on stride right now to do this shit, because you are on point on both ends of the court right now. Whether it's listen, Nick Nurse is saying something about you right now with your defense, and what you're doing is insane. You have a second nature of knowing where to be at the right place. You are good at picking balls out of the air as they whiz by your head. You're good at getting turns and turning to the right place and just getting your hand in the ball and stealing it. Scotty, you have great instincts. Keep going with them, and let's kick the Lakers' ass tomorrow night. Be great I'm already doing the preview. We'll do it tomorrow for real. But this is to say, I'm hyped about tomorrow. I'm already licking my chops that I want to see LeBron get dehydrated, just like the Crypt Keeper in the Crypt. You're going to be just like him. Oh, yeah. Oh my gosh. All right. Let's see. Banana Bread 10 saying Precious's threes are precious. Yes, they're precious. They're so precious. Like a baby. Just cradle them. Oh my gosh. Tom Duke saying OG. Let's see. What is he saying about OG? It jumped ahead. Let me make sure I don't miss any of y'all's comments. I apologize if I ever do. It's sometimes the algorithm doesn't show me every single comment. Tom Duke's saying OG back this week. Watch out. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Even we don't know when OG's going to be back. It's so ambiguous and mysterious. Like the fans, the team, we don't know. So how the hell are any other teams going to know? He's just going to show up one day and everybody's going to be like, oh, fuck, on the other side of the team. They're going to be like, what, that guy's back now? Oh, man, the Raptors are already annoying enough. Now this guy's back. We got to get OG-itis cream again and start rubbing it on our joints after the game because OG-itis is back. This is going to be bad. He's going to be giving us OG-itis. Raymond Jacobs saying this race with Cleveland will tell all. I really do believe you're right. That like this game on the 24th is a huge game. This may be our biggest game going out now for the rest of the season. This game against Cleveland on the 24th. Listen, they're still losing. We're one game behind them right now. Yeah, we're real close to them. They lose a game and we win the game, and then we're right there tied with them. And I love it. This is going to be so much fun, this stretch run. And I'm really glad that we're showing something right now. That we won these last 3 games. I was expecting us to lose on this trip, y'all. I'm not even going to lie. I hate being that way, but I was trying to be realistic and ground my optimism and my valuing of the Raptors. And boy, did they go past that for me. Because like I said, I wanted 3 out of these 6. We got 3 now, and we still got 2 to go. So we get these 2, then we go 5-1 on this trip. That is insane, y'all. If you had told me we're going to go 5-1 on this West Coast trip this time, I would have told you there's no way we went 5-1 on this trip. So let's take it one game at a time. We get the Lakers tomorrow night, and then hopefully we can beat the Clippers too. That's 5-1. That is insanely good. Oh my God, that's so good for this. Let's keep going. Banana Bread 10. Yeah, well, can you guys believe we went 2-0 this weekend? The optimists were hoping for a split. I know that's exactly what I was just saying, Banana Bread 10. I'm an optimist. I always aim for the sky, but I'm also have the ground in reality. And when I was looking at those 6 games, like if we can get half of these games, I'll be happy. because that means we got some quality wins against some teams. Sure, we beat the Lakers, we beat Cleveland, and then we get one, like maybe we beat the Spurs, but we lose to the teams we're supposed to lose to, like the Nuggets, the Suns, and the Clippers, possibly. That's how I was looking at it. But now it's like get four, and if you can, get five. Do it, because like we need all these wins, obviously, and they're doing it. Yeah, I love it. I love it when I'm like an optimist side and I'm pessimistic and they overachieve past what I thought. That's amazing. I always love that. Like when they surprise me, like they have these last two games, like all of us are surprised by what's happened. It's awesome because they overachieve. They should not have been doing what they did this weekend. They should not have. And it's awesome. I love it so much. Tom Duke does not enjoy daylight savings. I don't either. I mean, I know why they do it. They want us to be able to have daylight at the end of the day instead of being, this model of our work week where we have to get off work at 5. It's so depressing if the sun's already down when you get out of work. So this is part of it. They like to have the ability to people have 1 hour of sunshine besides their work. It's like, I'm with you, man. Like I started this right at before 11 and I'm like, man, I just got up, but I was like, man, I got to get on there before 11. And that's why I was like, I was just cutting it at the edge because of the daylight savings time. It fucks you up. So hopefully this is what I would do if I was the Raptors, because this week is so screwy with time. Don't even look at clocks, guys. Just look at when the game time is and just kind of orient yourself around that. Like maybe even just have a alarm for when, that kind of stuff. But the thing I really want them to do today, obviously they'll practice a little bit, do some walkthroughs, tape and stuff like that. But I really want them to sleep. Like I want them to sleep a lot. Go ahead and sleep an extra hour on top of what you normally sleep, guys, and just be completely rested. You got a day off today. You can do this. Sleep really good tonight and negate this whole time change thing and just have the right kind of, I know your body rhythm's going to be off because this game tomorrow night is going to be at a weird time for your body as far as with the time changes, just screwing you around, jerking you around different ways. Just kind of focus on that time and in the countdown to that time. Like as far as I get up at this time with this many hours before the game, I eat this at this time with this many hours a game, I work out at this time, this many hours a game, and get your regular routine in sync with when you would line up to when you would play. And that's how you beat the time changes with the time change and the time zones, because that is going to fuck up their natural body rhythm for things. This is such an awful thing that happens. And like I said, it's very fishy that the NBA schedules the Lakers the day after the time change. That's what I'm saying. He give him because we are kryptonite towards LeBron since he went to the Lakers. If y'all haven't noticed, for all the years that LeBron beat the shit out of us on the Cleveland Cavaliers, ever since he went out west, we have his number and we kick his motherfucking ass. Whether Kyle was here or not, Kyle would do it just for fun himself because he had some get back to get at LeBron from all those years of putting us out, him and DeMar. Because it gets his get back. And he did in his last game as a Raptor against the Lakers. Remember, last year, his last game for us, he kicked the Lakers' ass. And that was his send-off goodbye. Well, they see this trend and they're like, well, we need to help LeBron. So let's schedule the Raptors on the day after the time change. And then let's do this fucked up shit where they travel back to Toronto at different speeds. Like this, what I described earlier. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Andrew's saying, let's go. And he's also saying, woo, easy win. I don't know if that was easy. If you ask any of the Raptors that were out on the court, they worked their asses off. And they did good hard work and they earned it. They really earned it. Because this is the thing. These last two games with the Suns and the Nuggets, we have been the team that's been the aggressor. We've been the team that's been more physical, and we've been the team that has put out more energy. And that's part of the reason why we won these games. That these guys, they coast. These teams start coasting at the end of the year because they already have good records. They're kind of already online to go into the playoffs. So they coast to a degree. Like there's a little bit of loafing out there. Like Jokic is kind of a lazy guy in some ways. He really plays within himself. He doesn't play a whole lot of minutes. He's really good. He's very effective. But in some ways, he has limits. And that's why he doesn't play the whole game. That's why he doesn't get minutes like Fred VanVleet or Pascal Siakam, because he can't. He gets tired and he can't play that much. So there's stretches where they really do have to sit him out. and it's awesome. But yeah, I'm really excited about the prospects for the rest of the year, especially if we're playing at this pace and energy compared to other teams who are getting exhausted. I don't know what it is. Our energy biorhythm is going in weird ways. Like it's like going real high right now. It was real low when we got off the All-Star break, though. So Andrew, we got our revenge on Jokic and the refs. Poor Joker wasn't getting his usual calls every play. That was a big, huge difference. And when you look at if you're looking at an experiment, you got your control group and you got your other one. This is what I'm saying. How many free throws did he get last night? He got 9 free throws. So he got half the free throws that he got in the first time we played him. He got 18 in the first time. We got 9 last night. That's because they weren't babying him like they were Ed Malloy was. That's part of the hit job. That's what I'm saying. After that game, I said there were 3 things that beat us, and one was we missed free throws, the referees, and then of course Jokic with the big block at the end of the game, the last game. Those were huge key things that killed us. And the free throws was bad. And we did miss some free throws last night. I was worried we can't lose a close game because we're going to be blaming the free throws after the game because we did miss some free throws last night. I think we missed like 6 free throws or something like that. No, actually, we missed 9 free throws. Or no, not 9 free throws. Yeah, 6 free throws. We missed 6 free throws. And, I didn't want to have to blame that. So, Jokic not getting to the line as much, I don't know if that meant he was not as aggressive or the refs. I think it really was the refs that Malloy helps him. You touch him, you breathe on him, they put him on the line. They didn't treat him that way last night. In fact, they were very fair once again. I don't know what the NBA is doing. Maybe they really are trying to give off that presence that they're a fair organization with the refereeing because they are doing a better job recently. I felt like the refs were very fair last night considering everything. So it is what it is. And then when they're fair, you don't see Jokic continually going to the line over and over again. It was messed up. We were actually getting good calls last night, and they were pretty even, like I was saying. Alistair saying that fourth quarter effort was inspiring. We finished off Denver with our bench. I know, it's insane. Like, really, seriously, think about this. Like I said, we had no Pascal, no Gary, no Fred, and no OG out there for that stretch. And these are really our main veterans, our guys that we really count on in clutch situations. We did this without them out there. That's insane. Really, the only big time vet out there was Thad and Boucher. Boucher and Birch, I guess Birch is kind of, but then you had 2 rookies out there doing it with them, Barnes and Banton. And, listen, Jack was talking about how all these guys have B last names last night. I was all right, a couple of years ago when we had Bebe Nogueira and Bruno Caboclo, I started calling them the Killer Bees from Brazil because they were both B names, Bebe and Bruno. And I was like, oh, the Killer Bees are going to get you. I was way ahead with this Killer Bees things because I think we have the Killer Bees now. And the Killer Bees are Barnes, Banton, Birch, Boucher. I mean, we could put Brooks on there, I guess, for right now. But these guys are badass. The Killer Bees are going to get you on defense, and they're going to stop you from scoring where you can't do jack shit. And you're going to hear that 24-second clock go, and you didn't even get a shot. I love that so much. Yes. The Killer Bees. That's what I'm talking about today. I don't know if that nickname will stick, but there's a lot of bees on our team right now, it seems like. Callie, good morning. Yeah, she's saying it too. What such an awesome game. The Killer Bees. So excited for our team. I know your stress meter was kind of probably similar to the Phoenix game where it's just like, this is close. Then they jump up and they get going a little run and they're ahead of us for a little bit, but then we manage things and we take over. And really that defense was a big, huge key. And then just managing things. Like we had to keep scoring and stuff like that. I really like that we were able to still find the basket because this is the thing. We've had trouble not finding the basket at times during the season in regular, like in the middle of the game against poor opponents like Orlando. And if we're going to be in crunch time and high pressure situation against a top playoff team from the West and be able to execute our offense in that kind of situation with somebody like Jokic out there, that's fantastic. And I think it really is having to do with the spacing and just our guys are looking for each other better now. Like we were saying in the last couple of days, we were sick of seeing isolation one-on-one play. Well, now Pascal is doing a little more give and go off of Scotty. And I love that they pass it between each other. Good things are going to happen because one of them is going to get a good shot. They're just too gifted. And if they're really good at passing, why wouldn't they work off each other? The synergy between Pascal and Scotty is going to get more and more incredible and amazing. And it's just going to be, I hope that these guys really, really work a lot together this summer and that they really figure out how to like blend more and more together. If Pascal could take Scotty to Rico Hines this summer and with Earl Watson and they all worked out together and Scotty can do the Rico Hines this summer, that would be a huge thing for Scotty's game this summer. I really hope that Pascal will bring him with him. Because if he's running out there with him and doing what he does there with his development, Scotty, man, leaps and bounds, you're going to be a badass. We already know that. But if you want to do it the right way and have a fast track to it, go with Pascal this summer to Rico Hines, and you'll see what happens there. Oh, yeah. Scott B., good to see you again another day in a row. You still think the refs are fair? Dirty Joker. Scotty was giving him the business all night. Joker was visibly frustrated. Yeah, you know what? He was very dirty. There was a stretch in the game where they realized that we weren't going away and we we're going to be tough, and they got frustrated. And he started taking cheap shots at Scotty. Really cheap shots, like dirty, dirty cheap shots. Jokic is a dirty player. What he did to Morris earlier this season was awful, and he's a jerk for it. He's a goon. Now, I don't like Morris either, and he's a goon and a jerk also. But Jokic, man, how petty was that shit? Like the stuff he was doing to Scotty late in the game with like the cheap shots was fucked up. And you're going to hurt somebody doing that, Jokic. And it's pure just like infantile, like, I'm mad, you're winning, kind of shit. And yeah, you're right. He was dirty. Listen, the refs were fair, though. The reason why I say that is because we were hitting them, too. On the down low, we were knocking them around, too. So listen, it's fair both ways. And once again, as long as they call it on both sides, I'm very happy. And they were calling it on both sides. We were getting foul calls and going to the line. And, they were also getting called for shit that we would get called for that was ticky-tack. And the other things that I look for, too, is like things like, was the ball on the floor? And they side out it for the foul, or were they in the act of shooting? And they've been doing that more correctly now. There were times where they weren't giving Pascal continuation and things like that when they should have on and ones. They say, no, it was on the court, side out. They wouldn't even give him his free throw. That's the fucked up shit I hate. But they're not doing that right now. They're actually letting him have and ones and putting him on the line. And you see that more and more with the Raptors right now. I love that. Because that's a big difference. And that's part of the reason why I'm saying they're being more fair is because we're getting those kind of calls where we weren't earlier in the season. We weren't even getting the free throw line our fair share earlier in the season. That's true. But they're seeming more fair now. And part of it is maybe I'm skewed because we're winning. But also, like, they really did help us in the Phoenix game. Last night, I'd say it was more even. It was more even. It was pretty even. Andrew saying Armani Brooks has just replaced Malachi. I wouldn't say that. I didn't think Armani looked that great. I think Malachi's looked better in his starts. He only hit that 1-3, and he kind of was like shying away from shooting. And I understand why. He looked great as far as like not fucking up the offense or the defense. He was rotating and doing good things and stuff like that. But still, I don't think you're getting as much offense out of him as you will out of Malachi Flynn. And it was a really weird start. Like when I saw that Brooks was starting, I was like, this is really weird. But I can understand why Nick Nurse did it. It's partly because he hasn't really gotten a good look at Armani Brooks from the little bit of time that he's been in so far. And why not put him in there? If you need a little guard, put him in there and give him a start. And he didn't get yanked. So he must have been doing some good things. He ended up with like 21 minutes. So he must have done a lot of good things. So yeah, so I'm with Summer Lowe. She's saying, calm down about Brooks. I'm going to say that too. Calm down. He's probably only going to be a 10-day and he's going to be gone. Like, once we get these guys back and his 10-day contract's up, we're not going to sign him. I don't see any value in keeping him around. Malachi is the guy in that spot. And that's basically, we wouldn't even have Brooks. We'd still have DJ Wilson if Malachi hadn't got hurt, I think. We would still have DJ Wilson, I think. But we needed another little guard just because now Fred and Malachi are out. And you need at least one of these kind of little guys that can do stuff like that. And that's why he's here. But, I like that he's done well and he's been okay. But, like, once again, don't get it crazy, Andrew. This guy's not going to stick around. He won't. And Summer's right. Summer's right once again. Summer's just an all-star. Summer is brilliant, honestly. I'm going to tell you right now, if there's a Raptor fan out there that knows their stuff, it's Summer Lowe. I'll tell you right now. Andrew's saying Scotty outplayed Jokic, which basically means Scotty's the MVP. That is the logic I love. Like we beat Milwaukee so much, so we should be the champion. Yeah, that kind of thing. Yeah, no, I can't disagree with this. And in fact, this is really good that this morning people are putting Scotty's stat line up against Jokic's on a piece of paper and saying, look at what this rookie did with the MVP in comparison. And it is very comparable. I mean, let's look at it directly. Like, all right, all right, let's see Jokic first. Jokic was 9 of 13 from the field. He got 10 rebounds, 7 assists with 26 points. So he's 26 points, 10 rebounds, and 7 assists, 2 blocks. Scotty had 25 points, only 1 point less. He had 8 rebounds and 10 assists. So he had the flip with the other ones, very comparable. And he shot 11 for 20. So he shot a really good percentage. And he had 2 steals himself. And he also had a block. He had a good block. So yeah, they're very, very comparable stat lines. And then if you're looking at watermarks and you're seeing Jokic here and you're seeing Scotty Barnes right next to it, yeah, you got to look at that NBA experts. You got to look at that Rookie of the Year voters. You got to look at that. You have to. And you also have to look at which one of those 2 guys won the game and factor that in also. And that was Scotty Barnes. Oh, yeah. So, Andrew, I'm with you. He has to go to Scotty's house and give him the MVP award from last year because he beat him. Yeah, that's how the logic works, right? Right, Andrew? Scott B saying Scotty didn't just beat Joker. He took the fight to him and won. That's true. He didn't shy down. He was not afraid of him. He didn't this was what I was saying in the preview. I was like, I want to see Scotty one-on-one against him defensively. I want to see him take it to him. I want to see him mess this team up. And he did. He did. Once again, he came out aggressive. He came out badass. He did so many good, varied different things, whether it's defensively, offensively, passing, shooting, dunking, all this different stuff that he does out there is so badass. And I love it. And I would agree with this. That he did take it to him. And I think that he's going to do the same thing to LeBron tomorrow. Like, this is the thing. He has a hit list. It's like he's looking at who are the stars in this league? Who are the all-stars? And who can I impress? Who can I go and knock them in the face? Like, this is why Durant has something nice to say about him after the game. This is why Doncic has something nice to say about him because he's introducing himself to each one of the high-level NBA superstars in the league. And tomorrow night's going to be LeBron's introduction to him. If he even shows up, I would bet even LeBron might say, I don't feel so well, and do a Giannis for this game tomorrow night. Yeah, where then the Lakers can save face and say, oh, well, we didn't have LeBron. That's why the Raptors beat us. Yeah, let's see if LeBron plays tomorrow night. Yeah, because I want Scotty Barnes to introduce himself. It's like at a cocktail party. He's like, hi, my name is Scott Barnes. Oh, who are you? I was like, oh, you're LeBron. I've heard about you. That kind of shit. I want to see that kind of shit where he's like, hi, my name is Scott Barnes. Bam! That kind of shit. That's what it's like. Oh, my gosh, because that statement is right, Scott. He's taking it to people, and he is showing them who he is. He's like, hello, my name's Scott. I'm in the NBA. Andrew saying, I feel bad for Brittany Grenier. I wonder if the Russians planted this stuff on her. Who knows? Who knows? In fact, in some ways, she may become a political prisoner in some ways. This is really a fucked up situation to be in. Like, it must be really weird for her to have to play in Russia in the first place and to be there at this time when this happens with a war breaking out and you're in fucking jail there. That has got to be so scary. It's like these nightmare scenarios we hear that these big athletes are going through, like Aaron Baines last year at the Olympics, and now Brittany in Russia. This is awful. This is really scary. And as the common people, the people of Canada, the people of the U.S., the people of the free world, we need to put pressure on people to get this fixed and get her out of there because she needs help. She needs our help. And we can all be a voice like Chris Boucher was last night at the end of the game and help put pressure on the powers that be to help her out because it is a very scary, messed up thing. So you do not want to be in a Russian jail normally, but boy, you don't want to be in a Russian jail when there's a war going on and Russia is enemy number one in some ways in a lot of people's eyes right now. Yeah, I feel really bad for her. And Banana Bread Tan saying at Summer Low, yeah, let's calm down. I think Malachi's the backup point guard. Yeah, of course. Andrew is just being funny. He is. He's a positive dude. He wants good things for Armani Brooks, and that's all it is. It's just silly. But yeah, it's Malachi. He's gonna be fine. He really did show some good stuff in that stint of starting recently before he got hurt. He did show more confidence that we can have in him, and that maybe we don't need to give up on him so soon. Like, he has his third year of his rookie contract next year. Let's see what happens if he blossoms even more to being more respected and like just dependable and stuff like that. G saying dirty Joker. He is dirty. He is dirty, man. That guy is he's so talented and he's got so many good things about him. But man, also he's very unlikable in some ways to me now. Like, I know a lot of people are like in awe of him, but now I'm thinking about the Morris stuff, and I think about like the way he played against Scotty last night. I'm starting to understand who this guy is. He's kind of a big bully. He's coasting on his talents and stuff like that. And the NBA wants to make him a golden boy. But in some ways, he's kind of just like an oversized goon who has a little bit of talent. And like, he looks like a little kid too to me sometimes. Like, I forget how young he is. Like, if you look at him on the bench and sometimes with his facial expressions and stuff, you can tell he's still kind of a very young, like minded person, that he's not very mature or astute in some ways. And that's a weakness of his that we need to note and understand, that he is a youngster who's immature in some ways. He's got super amounts of talent, but there's still some things about him that, like, I think the hitting out is symbolic of what I'm talking about right now. G saying center by committee. Yes. And Denver fans were saying Raptors length neutralized Joker. That's what they're saying today. Yeah. That's the thing. Our length overall, the average, the mean of our length overall is just badass. And it really takes little guys like their guards out of the game. Like, nobody can shoot that well when you're little on the other side. And nothing is easy. Everything has to be worked for so hard, and you really have to work to get open. And we're just so good at collapsing, rotating, communicating, and just keeping on the ball. And I love, like, this should be a prerequisite. We don't get the charges like we used to with Kyle. We don't see those anymore. That used to be a fun thing I'd look for every game. It's like, oh, we got the charge. Kyle got the charge. Well, this year, let's look for the 24-second clock violation. We need to see those at least once every game. Like, when we see them cough it up and they don't even get a shot for the whole 24 seconds, that is badass. And to me, that's kind of a cool thing to look for every game now. And I think that's right. That once again, we neutralize teams with our length overall. And this is the whole genius of the positionless scheme and how we're breaking the NBA. The NBA is going to be broken. And we just showed two of their best teams how we're going to break it. And we get better and better. It's going to continue. We did this shit at the beginning of the year to an extent in certain games. We're showing it again all of a sudden recently, and it's badass. Like, this shutdown defense where nobody can score on us, they only get 16 points the fourth quarter, is so valuable and so good. If we can continue to replicate it against most teams, that'll be fantastic. It'll be tough against teams like Brooklyn who have Kevin Durant. It's really hard to stop Kevin Durant. But for most teams, you're going to be able to stop and completely stymie them all the way. And that's what we're showing. Let's see. Banana Bread Tan saying Thaddeus Young is making our non-shooting bench playable. Yeah, really cool to see Yuta come in and get that three-pointer right at the end. That was the cherry on top. It's like they always talk about the human cigar, like the player that you get called in when you've already won the game and everybody cheers. Like Taco Fall has been that guy for Cleveland at times this year. It's like, yay, Taco's in. Well, Yuta getting that three was huge, and I loved it. I was so cool to see. Yeah, the bench in general is just getting more functional. They're actually like taking things a little bit more seriously and being more efficient. And also, I think it's just that we have more guys that fit our position list with Thad being here, so that we have a lot more of this kind of like depth with that kind of stuff as part of it. So let's keep going. G saying Messiah Webster knew the impact of Thad for the bench. Underrated move. Yeah, a lot of the announcers, the away announcers, are saying that it was a huge move. People in the NBA know Thad Young because he's been around forever and they know exactly what he brings. And the fact that he's been plugged in and now he's really fitting really well. Like, honestly, he fits so good on our defense right now. And he's really making good veteran decisions. His shot is a little ugly to me. Like, it's very flat and weird, but he makes it go in. So I'm like, I can't complain. He's doing all right. It is a good move. It's one of these things, like, it's not flashy. It's not a big, huge splash. People are like, oh, they just went and got Thad Young. And other people are going out and getting huge names and switching their team around. Well, this is all we needed to do. And it's really worked out really well. Raymond Jacobs saying, I'm so glad we passed on Cousins. Slowpoke really can't run at all. He's not the kind of work guy that you want. One of the things that Jack said about Cousins last night in the game was that he's looking spry. Like he's been hurt most of his career and he's had really hard times with injuries and not being very good mobile. But he's actually getting around on the court a lot better than he had like 2 years ago. Like think about how he played in the finals for the Golden State Warriors when we played them to win the championship. He was kind of worse then than he is now. I think he's playing better now than he did 3 years ago. But once again, you're saying something about his work ethic. And this is the thing. This is the same thing with Harden and different people is he's going to dog it at times and not get back on defense. He's going to be slow. There's one time where he got hit and he didn't even come back. And we had a 5-on-4 situation that we scored on. Partly because DeMarcus just decided to hang out underneath the basket because he got fouled and they didn't call it and he wanted to whine about it. So yeah, it's stuff like that. That dude's been in the league for how long? And he's doing shit like that still. And meanwhile, we're keeping guys like Precious from doing that and teaching them not to. And they're showing that they will stop doing that because Precious did that a couple games ago where he stopped the play and he didn't get back on defense because he wanted to complain a call and it hurt us. But now we're seeing if he doesn't get the call and things are happening, he's changed. He's going right with the flow and not getting out of the game just because of that kind of stuff. And that's really big. Yeah, I never wanted Cousins here. You can tell he's a knucklehead. He really is a knucklehead. Banana Bread Tan is seeing G is saying facts about Messiah and Bobby with the Thad deal. Andrew saying Raptors length is more suffocating than Denver's high altitude. I know. Well, they asked Chris after the game, how's the altitude affect you? And he's like, well, I'm used to it because I played at Oregon and I had to play in Colorado and Utah all the time. So, it's like, part of it is kind of legend. It's kind of like, how much does that really affect games? They like to make that seem like that's a big, huge home court advantage for them. But really, I mean, I don't know. Is it kind of just bullshit? The altitude thing, I don't know. Maybe it is. I guess I need to go to Denver and play a full court game and see how it is like that compared to here, and maybe I'll know. So I don't know. It could be bullshit all these years. Who knows? I mean, it makes sense logically that the air is thinner a mile high up on a mountain. So yeah, it would make sense that I guess. Scott B saying I question why they started Armani Brooks, but that is why I don't coach. I thought he looked great in his debut. Yeah, I thought he did good too. He definitely didn't fuck us up. And that's the one thing I look for. If you're having a new guy come in, let's see if he like doesn't fuck us up. And he didn't fuck us up. And he didn't make really bad shots. And he was kind of facilitating things. One thing I will say about him, he got 2 offensive rebounds. And that was kind of huge. Our offensive rebounds, we had 20 offensive rebounds by 4 guys. Scotty, Chris, and Kemp. And Armani. Those 4 guys had 20 offensive rebounds between them. That's amazing. Like, that's really good. Really, really good. And Armani was a part of that. So Tom Duke saying, our rookies running the show last evening. Those no-look passes are wild. Yeah, Scotty did the look off. Really good play. This is the stuff that is really interesting and intriguing. Is that like he has like really good success already, but he's just like we keep saying, scratching the surface. There's so much depth and development that he can make in different areas and become all kinds of different kinds of players. Like we don't know what he could end up being. Do you want to be focused more on being a playmaker and being a point guard kind of forward? Do you want to be more like a low post juggernaut who just comes down there and beats people up? Or do you want to be like, who do you want to be, Scotty? And who do you want to be a hybrid of all of them and just whatever you want, you do when you want to? I think that's what's going to happen. Is that he's going to be like, he's not going to be just a straight up point guard. He's going to be able to be a point guard, but also be a low post threat, all this stuff all at the same time. And it's just really which look he wants to give on which trip down the court. So it's going to be really amazing and interesting. And it did show like, listen, fourth quarter was crunch time last night. And with that lineup, with Thad being kind of new and Chris being up and down with what he does, having Delano and Scotty out there and having that cohesion, consistency, and they didn't fuck up. They played really good is telling that you can rely on your rookies at that point in the game to play at a high level and do really well. And that was fantastic. Really was. Completely agree, Tom Duke and G. The fourth quarter, we had 2 rookies on and they looked like vets. That's what I'm saying. When Scotty gets to his second year, he's a veteran already. He gets 1 year being a rookie, and he goes immediately to being a veteran NBA player. That's just how it's going to work. Tom Duke is saying, woohoo, let's go. He's also saying, what a great business trip so far. This is all business, baby. This is all business. They're collecting cities to get wins, and that's what they're doing right now. I love it. LA's the next one. That's what I'm saying. This week we got 3 games coming up against Los Angeles teams. I want to sweep the city of LA for the whole year. We got 1 victory against the Clippers already on New Year's Eve. We need to beat the Lakers twice this week and the Clippers one more time. And then we'll be 4-0 against the city of Los Angeles. And I like the sound of that. Oh, yeah. Let's see. Andrew's saying the fourth quarter was our team in a nutshell. Good defense feeding into offense. We outscored them 31-10 in the last 10 minutes. That's amazing stat. Wow. They only got 6 points before in the 2 before. They got 6 points in the first 2 minutes of the fourth quarter, and then they only scored 10 for the rest of the quarter. That is fantastic. That is such good defense. And you're right. It is really kind of our team. This, I said this at the beginning of the season. When you play off of defense and rebounding, you can win. Win. That's how you win. If you don't have any rebounding and you don't play any defense, you should not be winning in the NBA. And you get beat by a team like us when we come see you. So if you're a team that's a pretender, like the James Harden, Houston Rockets for so many years with all offense and no defense, we will fuck you up because we're not going to let y'all score or do nothing. And we're going to prove once again that Eastern Conference basketball, that style of hard-hitting, physical, rebounding, defensive kind of style beats West Coast offense when it comes down to it. And it's really the chips are down. We will beat that West Coast offensive kind of style with the East Coast style. And that's what we've done the last 2 nights. We beat West Coast teams with East Coast style basketball. And I love it. I love it. Banana Bread Tan saying that 31-10 run for 10 minutes. What a run. It was fantastic. Honestly, I love how we really sealed them out and we stifled them. Listen, these teams are not impressing me. Phoenix and Denver late in the game. They're supposed to be these teams that execute and win. They hit big shots and they do all that. No, they're not doing nothing because they're running into a Canadian brick wall. A wall, it's the brick, baby. You can't do nothing about it. It's like the last mistake. Nobody coming in here and making any points off of us. This is what's happening here. It's like we the North, and we just brought a little section of the North to our basket, and you cannot come in. You are not allowed here. We the North, we have annexed this section of your home court to be the North, and you can't come in. I'm sorry, you were not scoring. And that's what we're doing at the end of these games. It's amazing. All right, Raymond Jacobs saying Precious is going to be a special one too. Next season is going to be fire. Oh my gosh, Raymond. I am so excited about every prospect. In fact, I'm excited about the short-term prospects. I'm excited about the playoff prospects. I'm excited about the off-season prospects. I'm excited about the summer league and the training camp prospects. I'm excited about coming into next season prospects. Oh yeah, future is so bright. Tim Buck 3. We gotta wear our shades. Yeah, we gotta wear our shades. Future's so bright. Oh my gosh. Tom Duke saying best example of our boys pouring that syrup all over the pancakes. And they did it late. We didn't get that deep pour of the syrup until the very end of the game. They poured on the 12-point thickness right at the end. And then that pat of butter. And it's over, baby. Joker, you lost. You lost last night. You are on a 2-game losing streak now. And Scotty Barnes, the rookie, just outplayed you, motherfucker. Yeah. Even when you try to hit him around, taking cheap shots, he took it to you still and kept going at you. Yeah, he did. He didn't back down when you gave him an elbow on a screen. He didn't back down or nothing like that. In fact, he came back at you twice as hard down at the other end of the court. Yes, he did. Oh, yeah, he did. Scott B saying Denver coach was confused and frustrated in the post-game interview. Raptors obviously got the wood burning. I love that. Got the wood burning. Yes, Scott B. I love that kind of vernacular, those sayings and stuff. Yeah, I love that. Yeah, that's very interesting. Malone, why were you confused about what we did? You should know what we're doing. You're a coach. You're supposed to scout. And you got a really good scout against the Phoenix Suns the night before. If you were watching our Suns game, you would have seen a lot of what we did to y'all. So I don't understand how you can be surprised. Maybe you need to go do your job better. Yeah, maybe you need to go do your job better and understand who the Raptors are. And then maybe you'll be better prepared. Yeah, maybe that's what it is. Yeah, okay. All right, maple syrup, baby. It's got to be maple syrup, Tom. It's got to be 100% Canadian maple syrup. That's right. That's what it is. Oh, Tom's got the emoticons out there. Yes. Yes, maple syrup, baby. Let's see. Banana Bread Tan saying when OG comes back, I think he gets more open shots due to Barnes' post work. I wonder how we'll play around with what Barnes has grown into. I think that OG, once again, his baseline is his defense. If he can shut down one of the best players on the other team somehow, some way, if he shows up this week in LA and he's shutting down LeBron or shutting down one of the Clippers or something like that, I'll be so happy. But once again, we'll see when he comes back. He'll be back in time to get in a rhythm and be a part of the team for the playoffs. But let's not rush him. In some ways, it's kind of like, yeah, we have this in our back pocket, and we're gonna bring this out when we really need it, and then we're gonna go to another whole level with it. Yeah. But that's an interesting prospect. What you're saying, Scotty's recent developments with OG coming back, how will that help OG's offense? That could be very interesting. Well, we know OG's going to get these threes, these open threes, because we rotate the ball around to him and he ends up being the open guy on the outside and he's laser with those 3-pointers. But what about the stuff with, like, if Scotty's doing bowling around the low post, then maybe OG isn't doing it as much, or maybe they're switching back and forth. There was a lot of that last night between Pascal and Scotty where they're really kind of in tune with each other and they're taking turns. And they're like, Scotty, you go this time or you go this time. And I really like, I don't know if they're listening to me or not, because this week I've been harping on them to go look for easier shots off of each other and play off each other. And they've been doing that way more in the last 2 games. And that is a big, huge reason why our offenses look so much better, is that they're actually playing off each other. They're figuring out where the weakness is on the defense, and they're going up against it. And they're doing a much better job of doing that. Like, especially last night, they did a really good job with it. So that's interesting. I wonder what OG's offense will look like. Hopefully he'll be on. Like, that's the thing. It's his finger on his shooting hand. It could affect his shooting when he first comes back still. And it may take him a little bit before he actually has a consistent jump shot again right away. But who knows? He may come back and he may be ready to go right away too also. But we probably should be ready for him to be not as good offensively right away when he comes back. But he should be good on defense right away, good to go. But maybe we can't rely on him, or he may not be hitting his shot correctly right away when he first comes back. So we'll have to give him an allowance for that, just in case, because especially since it's a shooting hand and it's this ring finger on his shooting hand. So Banana Bread Tan's also saying the Nuggets look like they were wading through some maple syrup during that 31-10 run. Yeah, that's part of pouring it thick. The other team starts looking like they're running in mud and they just can't get anything going. And we look so much faster, so much more on top of things, so much more everywhere. And I love that. That's just a symptom of us really playing that really well. Fan Chong, good to see you again. Precious for most improved player. That's really interesting. I mean, it's hard for a guy to get a most improved player going from his rookie year to his second year, because it's kind of like they're expected to improve a lot from their first year to their second year. I mean, there is the sophomore slump and people say that kind of stuff, but it's a bit of a stretch. Fan, but I wouldn't disagree with you. I wouldn't be unhappy if Precious won that award, but I think it's a little bit of a stretch just because he's in his second year and he was a rookie last year, and that kind of improvement's shown. And there's guys that are doing it on a bigger level than him around the league, as far as like they made jumps from like a starter to an all-star, like Pascal did a couple years ago when he won the most improved. It's that kind of jump that's more getting that kind of consideration than, say, a younger player who's expected to make an improvement anyway, is what I'm saying. So it's like a later player sometimes. Like somebody like Chris Boucher could probably get most improved more likely than Precious, just because he's been in the league for a while and he has improved and stuff like that. So G said Kyle got us Precious and Thad. Yeah, I guess if you really want to look at it, it's that way. It's Precious and Thad and Armani to a degree also. So yeah, I was saying that earlier. If you would have taken Kyle straight up for Precious, see, I think that was a badass move right there. And that's really where Masai fleeced Miami. They took their best prospect in some ways, their best athlete, their best prospect, coming up was Precious Achua, and we snatched him for Kyle Lowry. And that's the way people should be looking at this in the future, that we robbed them in some ways. That like Kyle, like I said, he's a great player. We love him. He's the greatest Raptor of all time, but he's kind of like a half a year kind of player now. He's going to play 45 games for you for the whole season, and he'll do great, and he'll help you win games, and he'll do great for you in the playoffs and stuff like that, but he won't be there all the time. And this is only going to trend more and more this way as the years go on from here now until he eventually retires, obviously. So let's keep going. Scott B saying Precious and Thaddeus Young for Kyle shows the genius and vision of Masai and Bobby. Yeah, and it wasn't even totally clear right away. It's like, we'll make the risk and get Goran here too, even though he could be a problem, even though he may not fit, even though he doesn't want to be here. And we just surf that wave of uncertainty and the bullshit with Tragic. And we end up being patient and waiting, and we get Thaddeus Young. And that's what I'm saying. It's like the vision isn't always completely clear right at that moment, but it becomes more and more clear as the picture gets clearer with time passing. And that is what happened with that. Scott's saying also, OG is the quiet assassin. Will be awesome to have him back with our guys. Yeah, I like that. I like that nickname for OG. I've always thought of him as being a quiet assassin also. So that's a good one. Let's see what else you guys are saying. Okay, lost my place. Let me get. Okay, it's Andrew. LeBron gives up easily. If we can jump to a quick lead, LeBron stops playing defense and he's trying to preserve those old legs for next season. Yeah, I could see that. That's really actually a really good strategy. Jump out on the Lakers, make them work a little bit, and see if they give up. See if they start waving a white flag. That's the difference between us and them. Once again, we're going to work our asses off till the end, no matter what, even if we're down by 20. And they might give up after they get down by 20. It may be in the second quarter and they give up at they're down by 20. And that's a great strategy. Let's try and do that. And then maybe we can get more of our bench guys in the second half playing against the Lakers and stuff like that. But yeah, we just want to really look good against them. And Scotty specifically. Scotty can look really, really good tomorrow night against the Lakers and LeBron. That'll really be good going up against Mobley and Cunningham for that ROI. All right. Tom Duke saying Cowboy Pop and all our awesome Raptors are just too much for the Lakers. Let's go. Yes. Pop did get one of his last victories against the Lakers. He got the one to tie Don Nelson. And, once again, like as much as DeMar roots for the Raptors when he's not playing them, we root for the Spurs in some ways. Like a lot of us are also Spurs fans here. And, I love that Coach Pop got that record against Utah. Utah's a good team for him to get it against because, Utah has been a rival of theirs historically for so long in the playoffs in different ways. The old Jazz battles between David Robinson and Karl Malone and stuff like that. So him getting it against the Jazz is much better than getting against us. So I really like that he finally got it and stuff like that. It's really, really good. And Tom Duke saying OG-itis is infecting the whole league soon. Yeah, they better get their booster shots for OG-itis because he'll be coming back and he'll be infecting the other team's offenses with his defensive cover. And it's going to be a lot of fun. I love seeing OG play. And like right now, we have so many good things going. You throw him back in the mix, and it's just going to add to the premium, awesome defense that we have right now. G saying the one person in the chat called win over Suns by 4 and win over Nuggets by 6. He was wrong on the Denver score, but he called it. The great Criscom has been correct in his predictions both games this weekend. What a badass Criscom is. Forget about the great Kreskin. We had the great Criscom because he got both the games right. He did. He didn't get the scores exactly right. Like, that's tough to do, guys. Come on. Like last season, I did a show, Raptors show where I juiced on Instagram, and every single game I predicted what I thought the score was going to be. And there were 2 games that I actually got the score within 3 points off of both scores. Right. Yeah, that's so hard to do. If you think about all the permutations and possibilities for a score to be in the NBA, to get the score almost correct without knowing, just like by guessing off the top of your head in the morning before the game happens, that's really impressive. So even Criscom just guessing that we're going to win these games and kind of getting a couple points off the margin is pretty impressive. So kudos to you, great Criscom. And if you want to make your part on this channel a regular thing, we will take your prediction every single game day on every game day preview. Criscom, please come and grace us with your presence and give us your prediction with your ESPN mind. Yes, I do say that on purpose that way. You know that, ESPN, because this is a sports YouTube channel. That's right. All right, let's keep going. Raymond Jacob, B team, haha, our plan B. I like the B team. Dun, 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 dun. They're the B team, but they're not the B team because they're a B team to an A team. They're the B team because they all have the last name that starts with B. And that's why, yeah, get them a van. Get them a van with the stripe. Have them show up and have cigars in their mouths and weird machine guns. And when they shoot them, nobody gets killed or shot. Yeah, let's get the B team out there. Dun, 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 dun. Like who's Mr. T and who's Hannibal? Like let's do that real quick. You guys that are still here and listening to me, write in who you think on the bench of the Raptors is who on the A team. Like there's Murdoch, there's Face Man, there's Hannibal, there's Mr. T. Who on our team is which A team member and the B team? That's what I want right now. If any of y'all are still here and you want to play this game, write it in and I'll read it when I get to it. All right, I love this game because I love the A team. That's one of my favorite shows when I was a little kid. That was such a badass show with Mr. T and all that. It was so good. G saying, thank goodness the Pascal and Barnes can't coexist narrative is gone. It's going to come back. This is the thing, G. This is the way the outside NBA press forces try to pry you apart. They'll do that Tracy McGrady, Vince Carter bullshit to us still with this. Don't get it twisted. They're still going to come and say that we don't have enough salary cap to keep every single motherfucking superstar on our team. They're going to try and pull it apart with every little strand that they can. This is going to still come. So we need to brace ourselves for this. And really what it is, all right, listen to this real quick. Pascal Siakam got a huge bag on his last deal. He's getting $30 million a season right now. Now, one of the things about Pascal and Fred that we need to consider, and hopefully this is true, and hopefully I'm not wrong with this, is that they may want to just get huge bags, and then maybe they may not need as big a bags later on. And that maybe each one of these guys can get a big bag in a row. Like maybe OG gets a big bag on the next one. He got a semi-good bag on his last one, but maybe OG gets the next big bag, and they kind of take turns, and they all kind of take salaries. They're good. They get paid a good amount, and they're pros, but they're not greedy. And that each of them take their time and get their slice of the pie at different times, because that's the way we can make it work. But it's really going to have to be working with the guys and making sure that they'll take the money, the less money, to stick around and keep the band together. And I think that some of our guys are willing to do this because they see the promise in winning and getting championships. That it's a smart strategy to stay together and do this because you'll have more likely a chance. Like if you go and ask Tracy McGrady about leaving Toronto, if he should have done it, he said, no, I shouldn't have listened to them. I should have stayed with my cousin, and I should have tried to make championships happen in Toronto in the early 2000s. And that these guys can see the history of that kind of stuff and understand it. But that narrative's going to come out. Oh, yeah, it's going to come out really strong with our team because Precious is going to be involved in that. OG, Pascal, Scotty, Fred, all those guys, and Gary, too. They're all going to have to get bags in the next couple of years when their contracts come up. And we're going to have to make tough decisions. But once again, we got the best guys in those positions to make those decisions and to make the smart decisions that continue to keep us going good for the future no matter what. And that's what I feel good about. Chris comes here. He retracted his message, but I'll see what he said on the next one. Scott B saying, looks like the Raptors went from no bench to one of the best benches in the league. Well, let's let them get some consistency first. Like I still think our bench is suspect. I still think we're going to need to do a retool this summer. That maybe we're having a good string of luck with our bench right now in some ways. But let's see if they can be consistent for the rest of the season. Then maybe I'll say we have a good bench. But right now we still don't have a good bench in some ways. Like we're lucky we're playing really good in some ways off the bench right now. But it could go south again. So we'll see. Chris comes saying, yo, what a huge dub. You know me. Chances are I'm picking the Raps. Lakers are getting smoked tomorrow. Let's keep the streak alive. Yes, Crisco. I believe your predictions now. I will never doubt you, sir. You have proven your worth this weekend. And yes, tomorrow, please give us a digit tomorrow about how many points we're going to beat the Lakers by. Alistair saying Thaddeus Young going to lead our bench to the chip. Oh, my gosh. Listen, if we win the championship this year and we become some sort of crazy development story, like this really crazy like comet that just shot straight up, at the end of the season, that would be fantastic and badass. And it would be really telling and showing to the NBA that we have broken it and that we are for real and that like they can't do anything. If we win a championship somehow, some way, and people may think I'm still crazy for saying that. Well, look, we just beat Denver and Phoenix 2 nights in a row. You think we're crazy for saying we could win a championship? I don't think we are. And that's without our starting point guard, our best defender last night. We beat the Denver Nuggets. That's right. Oh, yeah. G saying the Nuggets commentators in the fourth said Raptors don't have a good bench. Then they had to backtrack. Yes, I love that. I love like sometimes I like listening to the away when we have these games where we're kicking the team's ass and we're not supposed to, and listening to them eat crow. Listening to them have to go back and maybe like give a little kudos. Well, this Raptor team's going to be a real handful for the whoever they have to play in the playoffs. I'll tell you, Mitch. Yeah, I wouldn't want to play them. They look really long and tall and really active all over the place on the court. The Eastern teams really need to watch out for them. You know, that kind of shit. They start saying stuff like that. Let's see. G saying Precious body language is better now too. Yeah, he's way more confident. That's what Nick Nurse is saying, that he's going with his instinct. He's not hesitating. He's going with it, and that's looking badass. And it's really like he's not hesitating with the 3-point shot. He's not taking a moment. He has it. He takes it. And one of the really cool things about the development with Precious's 3-pointers is some of the ones he made last night were in rhythm off of great passes from Scotty. And that Scotty looking for Precious and getting the ball to him real quick when he sees him just slightly open and him bombing the 3 is huge. That's part of the way that Scotty got a lot of his assists last night was getting to Pascal and Precious on 3-pointers and passing it and kicking it out to them real quick. They got open looks and they nailed them. And that's really, really good development. That's part of the whole thing. Is like if these guys can be counted on, they're automatic and he can find them and they're slightly open and they just nail it. That's really good. They laid off Pascal on the 3-point line a little bit last night, and he made him pay. Yeah, he made him pay for laying off him on the 3-point line. That's what happened. G's also saying, someone did say, what in the hybrid monster are they building in Toronto? Yes, this is a Frankenstein's monster. This is Nick Nurse's Dr. Frankenstein, and he's putting that thing together, and he's telling people like Earl Watson, he's saying, Earl, get the brains. And he goes and gets the brains and they put it in the monster and they put it out in the corner and Scotty Barnes going, oh, so good. So good. But yeah, it's serious. This is the future. We are visionaries as a franchise. We are trying new things and we're doing some crazy stuff and we're going to have some success from it because we dared to. And other teams may have wanted to do it or tried to do it, but maybe they couldn't for whatever reasons. Their hands were tied, whether it was the owner. That's crazy. You can't have a team with no center and really no point guard at times. You know, there'll be naysayers. There'll be people that don't want to get out of their comfort zone, so they wouldn't allow for this kind of innovation. And that's the difference is we're allowing for innovation and we're looking to the future and we want to change the game. And that's what we're doing. The Raptors are changing the sport of basketball, not only in the NBA. We're going to change the sport in the whole world for the rest of history. That we're going to show a whole different type of basketball that people are going to mimic at all kinds of levels. They're going to try and do it in high school, college, middle school. Everybody's going to try and do what we're doing with their teams if they can get that kind of talent and that kind of length. Overall, if they can get a really talented big guy that can dribble and they can do it, they're all going to try and do what we're doing. I'm telling you right now. Scott B saying, I didn't hear the Denver broadcast, but going to be a lot of broadcasters walking back comments this year. The Raptors are for real. A lot of pundits, a lot of like Dick Jefferson. Let's hear what you're saying now this morning, motherfucker. Dick Jefferson, what you were saying about the Raptors. There's no way they could get in the top 4 in the East. Well, they might. It's going to be tough. It'll be tight to get up there, but definitely we're going to be real close. That we could possibly let's put it this way. All right, Dick Jefferson, we may not have the record to get us into the top 4 by the end of the year, but the caliber of the teams in the top 7 teams, I'm including Brooklyn below us, is really close. That from 7 to 1, we're all pretty even. Like you go ask Milwaukee about playing us. Yeah. And, you know, you're going to see Philadelphia's got some smoke and mirrors going on. We've already seen James Harden already doing a little bit of a disappearing act. Even already, he just showed up there. So I'm saying the 1 through 7 in the Eastern Conference is way more tighter and way more equitable between each of the teams. They're a lot closer to each other. And that's the difference right there. It's not going to matter if we get up to 4, Dick. We're going to get in there and we're going to fuck these teams up. And Dick Jefferson, you're going to be eating crow. You're going to be eating some Major Crow in the playoffs. You're going to be like Paul Pierce when we won the championship. He's like, I still don't think the Raptors are going to. When we got to Golden State, Paul Pierce was singing a different tune. And as we beat them, he was singing even more of a different tune all of a sudden. So that's what I really feel like that's going to happen. There's a lot of experts and people that are getting proved wrong by the Raptors. There's even Raptor fans that are getting proved wrong by the Raptors right now. And I love it. I love it so much because we were here all along being positive Raptor fans, believing in them and encouraging them, even in the darkest moments last week. We were still like, shine a light, and look, it's paying off. It's paying off right away, right now. I love it. Ansem, good morning to see you, Mr. Joseph. Every time I see your name, it's always good to see you. It's starting to come together now. That's what I got out of this game. Yes, it's all starting. It's like we've been preheating the oven, cooking the cake all year, and it's really starting to look good. It's risen up. It's looking beautiful. We're going to put icing on it, and we're going to dress it up real nice for the playoffs. It is. It's really starting to come together. And a lot of it is the development throughout the season, the reps, the time together, the ability to really just play off each other much better than even at the beginning of the season. And that's what I was saying. They won games and they weren't even together. They were a mismatched group of just learning each other, and they were winning then. And now they're getting their shit together. They're really going to start winning. And oh man, it's so fun to see. And as Raptor fans, last night I was laughing. I saw so much stuff in that game that made me smile and just laugh out loud. Like different stupid shit, like so funny. Like, oh my gosh, there were some plays that were really good. Like that block by Chris. Some of the stuff with Jokic was hilarious to me. Like even him fighting Scotty. I was like, yes, rookie, take his hits and don't let him get in your head. He showed such poise because he could have tried to fight him. Because some of the shit that Jokic did was very dirty, and like some players would lose their temper and hit him back. But Scotty didn't do that. He let it happen within the game, and he fucked him up with his play and getting the win. And I love that so much. Seymour Pape, good to see you. Raptors won my boy at Montana State won yesterday, too. They're going to the dance, March Madness. Oh, yeah, baby. Raptors had 3 players of the game. Great game. That is really crazy. There's a lot in there, Seymour. I love a lot of what you just said there. Okay, so your buddy, Muhammad, I think you mentioned him yesterday. He had a good game. They got into the tournament. That's fantastic to hear. The Raptors won. The 905 won yesterday in a very close game. Reggie Perry hit a clutch 3-pointer to win the game at the last second against the Lakeland Magic. It was fantastic. Reggie beat them with the last second with a 3 right at the end. We won by 3. That's such a great winning day for the Raptors in general. And then the last thing you're saying there about how we had 3 players of the game last night, that never fucking happens, where TSN decides to give the award to 3 different guys the same night. Maybe sometimes it'll be 2 guys, but you never ever hear them say 3 players of the game: Pascal, Scotty, and Chris. And all 3 of them super deserved it. Obviously, Pascal for being the leader, Scotty for being an amazing glue rookie, doing everything on both ends of the court, and then Chris with the energy, the hustle, the 9 offensive rebounds, the scoring. They all 3 deserved it. And I'm so glad that TSN did that. And then also, they interviewed Chris out of the 3 of them, because Chris isn't the one that gets those interviews very often. And it's fun to see him. And he really enjoyed that, especially after the last couple of games where he didn't get as many minutes. He didn't contribute as much. And he was big time last night for us. Oh, yeah. So it's not like something you see very often where you get 3 players of the game by the broadcast. That's not often at all. All right, let me keep going. Yeah, I love everything we're saying today. So much good stuff. All right, let me see. Where was I? Okay. And congratulations to your friend, Seymour. I'm really glad they got in the tournament. Maybe I'll see them in the tournament. Scott B, OG versus Kawhi, but my guess is Kawhi will sit against us. Is Kawhi back yet? I know that he's been practicing. I know a lot of these guys have been out for a long period of time, are starting to maybe possibly come back. Like, I was a little worried that Jamal Murray was available for the game last night, but he wasn't. I don't think Kawhi will be back for us. I don't think he wants us, dude. This is like if you're borderline, like whether you're coming back from injury and you want to come back, you're not going to time it so you come back against the Raptors. That's not the game you want to come back against somebody, because you're going to know you're going to work and you're going to have a lot of annoying things. This is part of the reason why Giannis sat out a bunch of games against us with Milwaukee this year. And that was a miscalculation. Boy, was it, Antetokounmpo. Yeah, you messed up when you sat out some of those games because we beat your ass. And yeah, I don't think Kawhi's going to play against us. The Clippers lost to Cleveland the other night, I think. They've been losing to teams that we beat and we've been playing pretty equal with. So we need to beat the Clippers again. It's not like they've gotten super better or anything. I don't think they're much healthier since we played them in January. They're a little different. They've shuffled guys around. They've got Norman now. They don't have Serge. It'll be very interesting to see what the Clippers are like for us. But first of all, let's play the Lakers once, and then we'll get the Clippers on Wednesday. Yeah, but that'll be interesting to see. I don't think Kawhi's going to be back, though, Scott. I don't think he will be. Hey, it's post-game talk. Haven't seen you in a bit. Good to see you. It's another annoying time change. Yes, these time changes always happen during the NBA season. And for some reason, the Raptors are always on a West Coast road trip dealing with time zones anyway. So it's very fishy to me that we have to be on the road during a time zone kind of the DST and stuff like that. It's really annoying. But like I said, if they can set up their body rhythm with just the time of the game time and their regular routine during the day tomorrow, eat the same time, work out the same time within relation up to leading to the game, they'll have a regular rhythm to their body because that's what their body is getting fed, the food, the rest, the different things. That'll help a lot with the difference in their body rhythm because that is a big difference. West Coast time, anybody who goes on a trip across the country and goes to the West Coast, they realize the jet lag. They realize the way it works on the way out there, and they also realize it on the way back. And it's going to hit us on both ends with the Lakers in particular, and that's very fishy to me. That's very fishy to me where the Lakers are scheduled with the relation to the DST and also with how we both come back across the country to Toronto for the game on Friday. Very fishy. Post-game talk saying the experts had Raptors winning under 36 and a half games. Laugh out loud. Yes, these idiots. They were so under. They do it every year. This is what we expect. They're going to undervalue us. They're going to say we're going to be this good, and we always beat every expectation. Sometimes we lead the league with our record. When they stuff like this, it doesn't matter what level where we're at. We're always going to exceed what they think we're going to do because they put us down. They pin us so far below. It's so stupid. So stupid. That's why at the beginning of the year, every year, it's smart to put money on the Raptors in all kinds of different ways because the Vegas odds are skewed to perceptions that we're not that good and when we're actually really good. That's a real easy way to make money is to go against whatever the odds are they're saying about us, bet on us, and you'll win money at the end of the season. I'm telling you right now because every year it never fails. They always lower us and our expectations of what they think we're going to do, and we always exceed them. So it's like easy money, y'all. So remember that next offseason, the beginning of the year, when they start saying that, oh, we're going to be this or this. And if you look at it and you're like, yeah, doesn't sound right, then go put some money down on them because you will win money. Oh, you will. G said, one game back from the Cavs and 6th seed. Yeah, it's right there for the taking. This Laker game is a must win in some ways. We should not lose to the Lakers. The Lakers have been losing to everybody this year, and it just takes some effort, some work. You put some work in on the court, you will beat the Lakers. That's all you have to do is put some work in on the court, and you will beat them. They will self-destruct on their own in other ways, and you just play your game, and you keep chugging along, and you'll be fine. You'll beat them. And we need to win the game tomorrow night and be 1/2 game closer to Cleveland above us and possibly out of the play-in. And I wish it was Boston in a way, but Boston's caught fire. They're going further and further up, but it's Cleveland is kind of falling down, and it may be Cleveland that we jump out of the play-in on and get into a regular playoff spot. So that'd be good. Seymour Pape saying we get past Cleveland in the standings. Who would you want to match up against in the first, the Sixers or the Bulls? I'd rather match up with the Sixers. And really a lot of that has to do with their main players. I don't want them to go against DeMar in the first round because we know DeMar's got eye of the tiger. He's going to be clutch. Is going to do everything possible to try and win. And I think that that's going to be a huge factor for the Bulls. And they're going to get healthier by the end of the season too. They're on a slide right now. But, when they get Caruso back and, they have different other guys that have been hurt, like White and different things, people that have not been there. When they get back, they're going to be full strength. look out for Chicago. They're actually a team that I kind of want to win the championship if we don't, obviously, because of DeMar. But I'd much rather play the Sixers. We play Embiid really well. And James Harden is going to shrink away in the big spotlight. This is something that people are talking about in the last couple of days. Charles Barkley, in particular, is saying that whenever there's a big game, James disappears. And that's the thing that the Sixer fans are going to find out. As much as they hated Ben Simmons for not doing anything or not shooting and stuff like that, they're going to hate James Harden because he, in games that are really important, like the one they just had against the Nets, he's going to disappear and he won't show up. He's going to be more of a distraction, and people are going to be mad at him because they're going to be like, well, you're supposed to save us. You're going to be supposed to be here to help us. And he's not going to do that. And that's going to really manifest itself in the playoffs. So I'd much rather play the Sixers because I know we're going to kick their ass. Because in a lot of ways, the Sixers are pretenders. The Sixers have been getting by on Embiid's big play and being a big guy, but we've shown that we can stop him. Like, he never has big games against the Raptors because of our overall length. And he probably won't still, even though he's been killing the rest of the league and getting 50-point games and 20 rebound games and stuff like that. He won't do that against us. It's a good matchup. And their team isn't as good as they were in 2019. I think our team, I'm not saying that we're better than our championship year, but in some ways that we're doing some things that are just as good, if not better. And that's the defense. I'm saying right now, our defense is just as good as the championship year, if not better right now. And that's with Marc Gasol doing the things that he did for us. And that's what I'm saying. We play Philadelphia, we're going to kick their ass. It's not a no-brainer. We've shown that we play them really good all year. I think they've only beat us once this year, and we've kicked their ass pretty much every single time. We beat them the first game of the preseason. I went to that game. I saw them kick the shit out of the Philadelphia 76ers when we opened up the building in the preseason last October. And right from that point, there was one game they beat us this season, but otherwise we've handled them really well. And I expect that when we get to them next weekend, we're going to play them in Chicago in a back-to-back after this road trip. They're like the next two games after, I think it's Sunday and Monday next week. So I would much rather play the Sixers. You don't want to play against DeMar and his clutch ability. No, not right now. Tom Duke saying Precious got to be Mr. T. Okay, I like that, Tom Duke. Precious is Mr. T. I was kind of thinking Chris Boucher just because he kind of did like a weird mohawk a couple of years ago where he had it shaved on the side. Well, I like Precious being Mr. T. He's kind of good. He drives the van. Sure. Family saying Bulls, we will kill the Bulls. So you like the Bulls playing the Bulls and you don't want to play Sixers. That's interesting. I just think that there's more on the Sixers we can neutralize. There's way more weapons on the Bulls with Vucevic and Levine and different people that you got to look out for. And on the Sixers is really you got to just look out for Embiid. And yeah, okay, Harden. We'll say you got to look out for Harden, but really, do you? And the Maxey too. Maxey's pretty good also, but he's still a very young player and stuff like that. And we can do okay. But I think if we would kill the Sixers, the Bulls may be tougher, but I may be wrong too. Family, you could be right, but I prefer the Sixers. I don't want to go against DeMar because I want more horses in the race overall. Like if DeMar's in the other bracket and he's kind of working towards the finals on his side and the Raptors are on the other side, and we meet up at the Eastern Conference Finals, that'd be great. That'd be perfect. But I don't want to see him early because that means one of the two teams that I want to win will be out. And that's maybe why I'm saying that. Top, good to see you, man. Hey, great win. Unfortunately, players usually all want the bag. Agents influence that too. We can't afford to keep everyone. If you have to shed one core guy to add depth, who would it be? Wow. This is like picking children, man. I can't do this, top. Yeah, and you're right. Unfortunately, the money does matter in some ways, but in another way, like DeMar on How Hungry Are You? He says the money isn't absolutely the most important thing. Like some guys, sure, they're going to go and maximize where they can get absolutely the most money, but some guys don't put that into their figuring. They think about where they are, what they want to do. They think about whether the other situation's better. Because sure, you can go paid more by Orlando Magic, but you may have a horrible time. You may be miserable. You may get paid a lot. It's that kind of thing you got to weigh as each individual. Like I want this much money, but also I want to be on a winning team. I'd also be great if I'm on a team that I already know that I play well on. It's kind of like when Fred on the Parlay documentary was talking about when he thought about leaving and signing with the Suns, and the Suns signed Chris Paul instead of him at that time in the summer. It's kind of like if he had been getting an offer from 2 or 3 teams that was the same amount of money and Toronto was one of those teams, he picked Toronto. And the reason why is because he knows what he's going to get here. It's not unknown. If he goes to Chicago, it may be a little weird, or it could be like New York, same kind of thing. Is dysfunction. The team's shitty because the owner, that it's that kind of stuff that they factor in also. And I think that our guys in particular lean towards winning and team concept, and that they aren't so much into like themselves and having to get the absolute most amount of money. That if Masai could come and get them all and say, listen, you guys all want to stay together, this is what I can do. And we'll get you this, 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 and this. And it's more equitable instead of just getting the max. Because that's the difference is some of these guys will want max money. And it may be that we can't afford to give them the max money, but other people can. But then that's their decision. It's like, yeah, OG, we can't give you max money, but Orlando can. Do you want to go to Orlando? Think about that. Or do you want to take 5 million less and stay with Toronto and win and have a champion? That's the stuff we got to think about. But if you're really going to make me choose between all of our guys right now, out of the 5 core guys, and who I would want to keep going forward, or who I would be willing to, I would trade Precious. I would trade Precious in a year or two. And when he's finally gotten more realized and he looks really, really good, I would trade him to another team for something. If we had to really do that, if I'm going to answer your question, I would say that's who I would do it. The family's saying we will go into the tax. So nobody. Yeah. Okay. Actually, the family's right, because I've heard Larry Tannenbaum personally say this, that in some ways, and this is something Bobby Webster said also, there were concerns about the pandemic and how the economics of the team are doing. Because no ticket sales, nobody here in Tampa last year, stuff like that. Whether financially the Raptors can afford to do things, or they're hamstrung with their, the economics of things. No, they're not. There's no problems. There's no financial issues with the Raptors in any kind of way. Bobby Webster has made that very clear with his midseason press conference. He said, we have no problems with money. And this is actually true what the family's saying. We will go into the tax if we're going to try and win championships. And Larry Tannenbaum is opening up his pocketbook. He sees the wealth and the greatness of the Raptor team winning and doing well and winning championships. So he will open up his money. And he will pay these guys if he wants to. If we want to be like the Lakers and have a crazy, huge salary, we will do it. If we are heading in the right direction, we will win. We will do it. We will open up the purse strings and we will make it happen. And I think the family's right, because I've heard these indications from Larry Tannenbaum himself that he's not a miser. He's not totally looking at this team as like a total profit. Of course he is in some ways, but he also understands, and probably from the 2019 championship run, that when you win championship, the economic boost from all that is something. It's kind of like you spend some money to make some money. So you're going to spend some money on your salary with championship quality team and players, and you'll get more money because you won the championship. You get more interest. Your team's worth more in all kinds of different ways. So that's how they're looking at it. And I think the family's right. That the purse strings will not be closed. They will be opened up. And if we see the merit, some of it is that we don't want to look stupid by giving a huge amount of money to a guy who's going to dog it and be horrible for us. So we're very careful. We give the bag to the guys that we know are like Pascal and Fred. So these guys, it may not be all of them that show this, that they deserve the bag. Like it may be that there's something that happens or something weird happens, and that it's really that's what they're going to look at is who is like Pascal and Fred that we want to invest in, that we know is a winner. It's going to continue to develop, continue to get better and better, and who can we let go? Like maybe like Kyle or Norman in the last year or so. Those are the tough decisions, and it looks like they made the right decisions. If they were trying to figure out whether they should keep Kyle Lowry or Fred VanVleet or Norman Powell or OG Anunoby, that's the kind of stuff, the tough decisions that they make all the time. And we seem to make the right decisions, trusting in our guys. And like, I don't think money will be an object. I think the family's right. Seymour Pape saying Sam Mitchell was on NBA Game Time last night. I don't know where this is going, but I already don't like it. And the look on the other reporters' faces when he was saying good things about our team is priceless, rolling eyes and all. Okay, well, I'm glad it was Sam that was championing us and saying good things about us, because sometimes he gets on that show with Dennis Scott and different people and he starts trashing the Raptors needlessly. Like, especially at the beginning of the season with his preseason predictions, he always picks us not to make the playoffs. And I'm like, what the fuck, Sam? You're a TSN analyst. You're on our TV up here. You see the Raptors all the time. You should have a better pulse on what's going on with the team. Well, I like that he was defending us and saying that stuff. But if other people on the show were rolling their eyes to the side of them, well, let them roll their eyes. Their eyes may roll right out of their heads when they see what the fuck we're going to do by the end of the season. Because, like, honestly, if it was Dennis Scott, man, come on, 3D, you're better than that. You're smarter than that. Quit having this bias against the Raptors, Dennis. I used to love you when you played for the Magic in 3D days with Shaq. I was a big Magic fan at that time, actually, before the Raptors and Dennis Scott. And I'm disappointed you, Dennis. Give the Raptors some favor, man. Come on. And if your eyes may be rolling out down the street afterwards, seriously, after what you see what we do by the end of the year. Raymond Jacob is saying, haha, Alex, your jokes like this show is like my favorite morning show. That's awesome. I appreciate that, Raymond. Listen, I've done stand up at times. I don't really have jokes. When I get up on stage and I do stand up, I just ask the audience, tell me to do impressions of things. And then I do them. Like, if you guys wrote in, do an impression and then equals and something, it could be a word, it could be a person. I'll do that impression for you. It's kind of like a jukebox. If you guys want to do that on this show, I can make this a regular thing, or it may be something we do more on the off season when we don't have specific Raptor stuff to talk about. Hey, I'm here to entertain, and I appreciate that you enjoy my morning show and that you're here all the time, Raymond. You're a great part of it. This is a collective. It's not just me. This is our channel, y'all. And we're building this together. Chris Combs saying, yes, sir. All right, here we go. Here's the great Chris Combs prediction. Raps by 10 coming up tomorrow. Keep up the great work. I appreciate that, Chris Combs. And you too. You keep up the great work too. I like that. 10 points. I think that might be a little low. I'm really hoping we can rout them tomorrow night. I want to see a 20-point victory over the Lakers and LeBron. Yes, I want to see LeBron leave the court early again, like he did last year, the last time we played them, when Kyle and the Raptors kicked their ass and LeBron left with 5 minutes to go in the game. He left their bench and went to the back. See, that's the epitome of how much of a punk he is and why he will never, ever be the GOAT. And Michael Jordan is. That you give up on your team and you walk the back with 5 minutes to go in our game. That was so fucked up. Like, if I was your teammate, I'd hate you because of stuff like that. Yeah, all right, let's see. Scott B. retracted. Kenny saying Chris' last three-pointer in the walk back was everything. Yes. Chris was really unsung hero in different ways. It was really cool that he came up big in times where we really needed him last night. And like the shot blocks, the three-pointers, the rebounding. Oh my gosh, the offensive rebound. How do you get 9 offensive rebounds when you're on the court with Nikola Jokic? How do you do that? Ask Chris Boucher. He'll tell you, because he did. And he loves the physicality. Once again, at the end of the game, they're asking him about playing against Jokic and his physicality and how he's hitting everybody. He's like, I love it. Chris loves that shit. Like, he's a skinny dude. And he doesn't have a lot of weight, but he doesn't care. He gets in there and fights these big, wider guys like it's no problem. And he cited Serge and Mark for helping him with that. Like, practicing against Gasol and Ibaka for a couple years, it made him tough to play against big guys like Jokic and Cousins. And man, Chris was a badass last night. Like, I love it because in some ways he is playing like Rodman, but he has a whole other element side to his game that's better than Rodman in some ways. But he's doing a lot of the Rodman stuff right now. Like, the offensive rebounds themselves just smack of a Dennis Rodman kind of line, 9 offensive rebounds. That's insane. That's the stuff that the Worm used to do. And I love that he's his inspiration. You see it on the court more and more. Let's see. Scott B saying hustle play with Chris Boucher. Love that show. Love the players. I can't wait to see who he gets on there with him next. Like, he had Delano on the second episode. Which teammate's going to come on there and talk with him next? I would love to see somebody like Precious or Kem or Fred. Who's it going to be, Chris? We want to see the next episode of Hustle Play. I'm sure it won't be until you guys get back from this West Coast trip. Who's going to be your teammate that you're going to get up and close and personal with on that show with? We want to hear all the inside stuff because you guys are giving up some juicy stuff. So much cool shit and finding out from listening to you guys talk in such an open, frank manner on there. Maybe a little too open sometimes. But yeah, totally love that show. It's my favorite podcast, Raptor related at this point, is Hustle Play. Chris Boucher, so good. Bonjour, yes, Jack. Jack with his bonjour. Yes, yes, he's so good with all that. It's so good. Monique, good morning. Always good to see Monique. Let's go, Raptors. Very simple, very correct. Another person who predicted it on Friday morning, Monique, saying, let's get this back to back. Let's win both of them. And we did. We did, Monique. Thank you for putting it in the ether, making it in the realm of possibility. And poof, magic and dreams and wishes happen. And we win these games. It just happened. Daryl Turner, a new name. Good to see you, Daryl. We're here every morning doing live streaming on the Raptors and whatever's happened with them, whether we're reacting to a game the night before or previewing a game this night, trivia, all kinds of fun stuff. Daily Raptors, positive community, never slamming the team, never looking down on them, always rooting them towards the next Larry O'Brien trophy. Every morning between 8 a.m. and 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, you can find the Raptor Freak here with all the regulars, Daryl. So I hope you'll come and join us again on another day also. Can you beat LeBron's Lakers tomorrow? Well, listen, I will say this, Daryl, that most teams in this league have been able to beat LeBron and his Lakers this year. I mean, look at their record. Look at who they've lost to at different times. They've lost to a lot of bad teams. They lost to good teams. They've lost to a lot of teams. And they're not really showing the signs of getting any better before the end of the season. I know LeBron recently has been hitting these 50-point games. And if they really need him to do that at this age, he doesn't have that much of a supporting cast, then they're in trouble. And Russell is a disaster. He has been an absolute disaster. Magic is right. He may be the worst trade the Lakers ever made because Kyle Kuzma was a much better player than Russell Westbrook's playing for them right now. And, Anthony Davis is another whole kit and caboodle of dysfunction and messed upness. That, like, at this point in his career, his trade value is so low. They can't get jack shit for him. Like this deal that I heard this week that they would trade Anthony Davis to the Bulls for a bunch of players, that's not realistic. The Bulls would never do that. That is a joke. They're not going to trade Vucevic, Caruso, and like 3 or 4 other players for Anthony Davis. That's insane at this point. So based on the facts of everybody's beating the Lakers and we play really well, and like I was saying earlier in this stream, we're the opposite of the Lakers. The Lakers are lazy. They're old. We're young and we are energetic. And we are all over the place. They're going to have a nightmare tomorrow. In fact, we're kind of predicting, some of us are trying to understand whether LeBron's even going to suit up and face us or not, or he's going to do like Giannis did earlier this season and just not even suit up and want to play against us. And then there's a good excuse if they do lose. Oh, well, LeBron didn't play. That's what I'm saying. It's going to look like that. We should be heavily favored in this game against the Lakers. I'm going to say that right now. We should be favored in the odds. If they're picking the Lakers to win this game, they're fucking crazy. And especially since we just won these last 2 games. These last 2 teams that we just beat are quality opponents. I don't consider the Lakers a quality opponent. So there's the difference right there. Monique's saying we gone streaking. Yep, we gone streaking again. And at a time I didn't think it would happen. Like there's no way I would have thought we would win both these games. Like this whole season, I looked at these 2 games that we just played and I said, these are going to be losses. Like I seen them and I'm like, man, we got to expect to lose when we go to Phoenix and Denver 2 nights in a row. Well, I was wrong. I was really wrong. And I'm glad I was wrong. I'm so glad I was wrong. I was just being a realist. I'm like looking at the records. I'm seeing they're at home. We're coming on the road. We just lost these really awful losses recently. Why would we beat them? Well, we did. And it doesn't make sense, but in some ways it really does. It's like the way it was supposed to be. So really crazy. Let's see. Yeah, G saying LeBron has not beaten the Raptors since joining the Lakers. This is true. Lakers have had 1 win since 2018, and LeBron didn't play in that game. Yeah. This is something I remember. It's like LeBron on the Lakers has not been kryptonite for the Raptors like LeBron on the Cavs has been, or LeBron on the Heat. And I love this stat. And I do remember the Lakers did beat us once, but LeBron didn't even fucking play in that game. So he has no bragging rights over us at this point. Daryl Turner saying, were you ever do a Raptors podcast with YouTube NBA Chev, who's big time Raptors fan from New York? Yeah, I would love to collaborate with Chev. Chev is somebody that I'm familiar with. I've watched a lot of his stuff myself. I don't watch him currently because I don't want to echo the same things that he's saying. So like I want him to have his voice. I want me to have my own voice. But we probably say a lot of the similar things. Like I'm sure this weekend, I can only imagine what Chev's content is like this weekend. Is probably so entertaining and funny. He's probably just going off like, oh man, I can just imagine how he's roasting the Nuggets and Jokic and the Suns. And I know he's talking about LeBron and tomorrow. And he probably has a video out that's coming out today talking about what we're going to do the Lakers and all that stuff. He gets me so hyped too. But like I said, I don't like listening to him right now because I don't want to duplicate or copycat him. I'm very smart about my sources and who I listen to and where I get my information because I don't want to sound like everybody else out there, whether it's like one of the regular pundits like Leo or Jack or Paul Jones, Sherman Hamilton. I do listen to those guys, but I listen to them after I do my stream. Like I'll listen to the Raptors nightcap from last night, but it will be after this show so that I'm not just echoing and saying the same things that they said with Randy after the game at the table with the sushi. I'm not saying the same things as them. And then the other people that I listen to are really, it's like limited. I really stick to the main basic like NBA people that are trusted. Like I pay attention to Michael Grange, Josh Lewenberg and Blake Murphy and get a lot of my day-to-day information from their Twitter because that's the way I can really stay on top of it minute by minute. And then otherwise I do all my own research on ESPN, looking at all the stats and everything and handicapping the teams. Now Shev's a different kind of channel than me. Like obviously he's not visual like I am or live, like interacting directly with people and stuff like that. But I am totally open to that. He's a hero of mine. I love his content. He partly inspired me to do this channel, actually. I would welcome it. Him and I have a connection actually, because he went to TCC, which is Tallahassee Community College. He lived in Tallahassee for a little bit. I lived in Tallahassee. I grew up there too. So we have a lot in common. And like we said, he's not a diehard longtime Raptor fan because he just came during the bubble. But he's in, man. He's a real one. And I love the way he breaks it down. And the fact that he's a New Yorker and that he loves Toronto and he switched and he's really on our team is really good because he has that edge, that New York edge. And like, he's just entertaining. He's fun. But yeah, I would love to work with him. He's a great, great channel. And any channel traffic between him and I that's shared is awesome because then I know I'm doing the right things and heading the right direction with what I'm doing here if I'm getting compared to him. So that's awesome. Seymour Pape, I really appreciate that, Daryl. It's a really nice compliment. Sun said they are going to try to beat down LA because they haven't lost 2 in a row all season. So Raps should get a beat up Lakers team and a biased ref, but we will still put it out. Yeah, I think Seymour's right. The Suns don't want to lose 2 in a row. The Lakers are gettable. They're playing them tonight, and then we're going to get the Lakers on the second night of a back-to-back. But I think that's really key what you're saying. The refs are going to help the Lakers tomorrow, and we should brace for it. But this is one thing. The strength of our team can overcome the other team and the refs. We've done this all year in different games and stuff like that. I think you're right that the balance will still be in our favor, and we should be able to overcome all that. And I do kind of want to watch this game tonight between the Suns and the Lakers just to see like how this team that we just beat, how they handle the Lakers is kind of like a scouting game. I don't normally watch games that don't have the Raptors involved in them, but I may actually watch this game tonight just because it's a good scouter for tomorrow night. Let's see. Okay. Monique saying, sorry, it just jumped on me. Nick Nurse out coaching Monty and Mike. Such a great feeling. Nick Nurse is a badass. Like, honestly, and they were talking about this at the end of the game last night. Nick Nurse coaches a perfect game. Like, he's been coaching really perfect games recently. His pulse on which players to continue to ride and keep in the game and take out at different times is really gutsy at times. Like, that whole thing he did in the fourth quarter last night was risky. Like, him not having Gary and Pascal out there for a little bit was very risky, and he did it, and it was badass because he got the spoils for it. He got rewarded for it. And that there was a point where they were kind of stagnant right at the beginning of the fourth quarter, and it looked like it wasn't going to work, but he let them ride. He said, I think something's still good about this, and they worked it out, and then we saw the amazing stuff that happened later. And Pascal may not have gotten back in the game if Delano hadn't made kind of a little bad play at one point, and they're like, okay, we'll take Delano out at this point and bring Pascal back in at that point, because they may not have needed him. That's how crazy that end of the game was with the defense, is that we may not have even needed Pascal to win the game at the end. That we were able to do it with that squad that we've been keep naming the Bees with Thad Young. Were able to do it themselves without Fred, without Pascal, without Gary out there. None of the main three clutch guys at the end of the game were out there in a way. Like Pascal was not necessary at the end of the game to carry us to the end. We did it with the whole team together. It's amazing. It's so good, so good. And I will say that, yeah, Monique, I agree. Nick Nurse outcoached those two guys in the last two nights for sure. Monty Williams looked baffled. And from what you guys are saying, Malone looked baffled in the game afterwards last night in his press conference that he didn't understand what happened. So, yeah, that means that our coach outcoached them. They don't understand what's happening. Seymour saying respect at the family. He's a real one. Yeah, listen, man, this is the thing. If you guys are here with me every day, day in out, I know y'all are real ones. Like some people will pop in and they'll say a couple things. Like some people like tried me one day and I had to go off on them and stuff like that. But if you're sticking around with me and you're feeling the positive vibe of rooting on the Toronto Raptors that we do on this channel, then you're real ones. It's people that come in here and they listen to me and they're like, this guy's fucking full of shit. He's stupid. Like he's crazy. Why does he think the Raptors could win a championship this year? Well, that's because I'm a positive Raptor fan who believes in anything and believes in anything's possible. And when you have that kind of belief, you go and beat the Suns and the Nuggets on a back-to-back on the road. That's what I'm saying. So we'll open yourself up to the realm of possibility and what could happen. And things like 2019 happen. That's what I'm saying. That's what I love. And that's why this place is here for that. Because there's so many cynical, negative Raptor fans that are awful. They just tear the team down. They're just like, yeah, they did good against them, but they still lost to Orlando. You know, I hate those kind of people, Debbie Downers. This is why we're here, because we want to bring the positive forces of the Raptor fans together and concentrate them and shoot that laser of positivity towards a team wherever they are so that they'll win. Yeah, that's support. That's real support for your team. That's what I'm talking about. Monique's saying, does Fred play both games in LA? No. Well, this is the thing. Yeah, I was totally wrong yesterday. I have to admit it when I'm wrong. I said Fred was going to play for sure last night, and he didn't. And I should have factored in the idea of a back-to-back. If there's a back-to-back, they're usually going to rest somebody. But this doesn't mean that he's more hurt. This was really just resting him because it was a back-to-back. So Fred's not more hurt. He should show up tomorrow night and play for sure. So I think that he will play because he gets a game off in between. And they don't travel because it's in the same arena. So they're going to play the Lakers on Monday and they play the Clippers in the same building. So, yeah, he should get enough rest and be available for both those games. Now, the game that he may not play is the game back in Toronto, the one against the Lakers on Friday, because the travel and the weirdness of that may be the game where he gets held out again. But it may be that he continues to play and he only gets taken out for one of the back-to-back games. And this is the thing, guys. We only have 2 more back-to-backs for the whole rest of the season. We're almost through all these crazy back-to-backs. We've had 15 back-to-backs this whole entire season. And some of them were like 3 in a row. It's absolutely insane. But we only have 2 back-to-backs left. The whole entire season is awesome. And those may be the kind of games where Fred will sit for one of them. They may actually sit Pascal for one of them and Fred for one of them and kind of alternate them depending on who the matchup is. So, all right, let's keep going. Daryl Turner, once again, my NBA Eastern Conference threats, Nets, Celtics, and Raptors, possibly Heat. Then my Western Conference threats are Suns, Warriors, and Nuggets. Yeah, I think your Western ones are right on point. Those 3 teams seem like the toughest 3 teams in the West, although you can't discount Memphis. If Memphis gets completely healthy at the end of the year, they're nasty. Memphis is like a baller team. They're kind of crazy. So if we're going to pick 4 teams, I'll pick Suns, Warriors, Nuggets, and Grizzlies. And then on the East, I don't know if I'd put the Nets there. The Nets aren't a real threat to me, because they have too many guys that don't have time together. Ben Simmons has not played a lick of basketball on an NBA court with any of his teammates yet. So it's like you can't pick them to go far. I think they're going to get put out pretty early, actually. And, I would put the Celtics as being a real threat just because of their play in this year since January has been fantastic, along like the Raptors have been. And you know what? I would actually switch the Nets out. I'd put the Heat, keep the Heat there, yeah, and put the Bulls in there. I say it's the Celtics, the Raptors, the Heat, and the Bulls that are the top 4 Eastern teams that people should be looking out for, not the Nets. The Nets, they got too many issues. Like what the fuck? If we play the play-in against the Nets, and Kyrie can't play in Toronto. Look at that. It's that kind of shit. Kyrie's still a fuck up for them with his vax stuff, and then Ben Simmons is not going to be a savior for them. He's going to disappoint everyone when he comes back. He's not going to be like some guy that actually just add to them and they're all of a sudden they're boom, they're all awesome and stuff like that. It's not going to happen that way with them. In fact, I think they may be smart to hold them out for the rest of this year and just have them come in on the regular cycle with training camp and not even play him this year, because this year's kind of a wash for him in some ways. He kind of might fuck them up worse than help them, is what I'm saying. So I don't have any faith in the Nets at all. In fact, I think the Nets will be out by the second round for sure. There's no way they're getting the Eastern Conference Finals. Okay, let's see. Monique's saying Channing Frye is showing love. He is really the hater. Okay, so Channing Frye is actually saying good things about the Raptors. He has been a hater towards us too, just like Dick Jefferson. He's actually saying good things about the Raptors. Well, that's what I'm saying. You go out there and you get 2 quality wins over 2 really good teams, and you get noticed and you start getting respect. And that's what I'm saying. This is going to help in all kinds of areas, whether it's respect for our team and noticing us. Maybe we get more national coverage next season because they're like, whoa, this team's really exciting with Scotty Barnes and Precious. We may need to show them on TV in the States a bit more because there's a lot of good entertainment in watching them and stuff like that. And then, of course, the Rookie of the Year battle, with more notoriety and good wins like the last 2, Scotty Barnes will get more consideration over Mobley and Cunningham. That's what we need. Kareem Thomas, always good to see you, man. This guy's a funny dude. I want to see what you're saying. Lakers are on the back end of a back-to-back and facing the Suns tonight. They have no chance against us, the Raptors. I totally agree. But once again, if there's anything we know about the surety in this league, going into games against Detroit and Orlando, and then going into games against Phoenix and Denver, we cannot predict anything. It could be that we shit the bed against the Lakers and LeBron has a good time. But I really hope that doesn't happen. I don't think it will. I think that our guys, it's basically like who comes to work and works hard? Who's more likely to do that? The Raptors. The Lakers are not likely to come and work hard, especially when they haven't seen something like us yet this year. I don't think the Lakers have. Like a team that's really going to do this. They played Detroit and they've lost to Detroit when they played Detroit at times too. So, and we're similar to Detroit. So it'll be very interesting to see. We should punch them in the face and mess them up. And I really hope we will. I think we will. Seymour Pape saying, can't sleep on the Bucks. Bulls, the East is really fun. Raptors can come out on top, my opinion. Yeah, I always disregard the Bucks just because we swept them this year. It's like I don't take them as seriously as some of the other teams in the East just because I feel like we have their number. And, I should give them more respect. They're the defending champions. They have been winning a lot lately. They are on their way up to being near the top with Miami at this point. And I discount them just mainly because we match up really well with them. And if we play them in the playoffs, we're going to kick their ass. So I don't worry about them. It's like I worry about the teams that I named before. I worry about the Bulls. I worry about the Heat. I worry about what's the other team? The Celtics. But I don't really worry about the Bucks, and I don't worry about the Sixers. It's kind of weird. I don't worry about those 2 teams as much, but I worry about those other teams for some reason. Kareem's retracted his statement. Seymour saying muscle at Kareem Thomas. Yep, he's always this guy, man. I'm telling you, he's rookie of the month, Kareem Thomas. Business trip continues. Toronto, next stop, LA, and there is the little bag, the Halliburton, the briefcase. All business. This is it's kind of exciting and fun for rookies like Delano and Scotty to be like, we're in LA for playing the Lakers. Like that is a rite of passage as a rookie in the NBA. They got to be a little bit more up just for that vibe. Like you're in LA, you're playing the Lakers. That is a cool thing, a rite of passage for a young NBA rookie. And I hope Scotty takes this real seriously. If he comes out there with the aggressiveness he's shown in the last 2 games or last couple games, he could do a lot of stuff against the Lakers because they're the kind of defense that will fold and allow him to operate and do whatever. So Scotty, man, go for a 50-point game against the Lakers and LeBron and say, yeah, you may be getting 50-point games recently, but watch, I'm a youngster and I'm on my way up. You're on your way out, and I'm going to show you I'm the future. Yeah, that'd be awesome. It'd be so good. Monique saying Brian Windhurst showing Scotty Barnes major love. Check it out on NBA on ESPN. Windhurst, he's like I've seen him. He's a pundit. Yeah, they should all be talking good about Scotty. They have to, because honestly, in a lot of ways, a lot of players and pundits love Scotty Barnes because, like we said, he's an old school jukebox. We see him pull these old school moves out there, and they make people have nostalgia for like different eras of the NBA. Whether it's the little magic baby hook, the Dirk little hop jump over there, the Kawhi little the Kawhi or Duncan like bank shot, low post stuff, and then last night the Kyle Lowry football pass. He's like a jukebox. You hit the button and then you get like a nice little like song. Oh, I remember that song, the Kyle Lowry song, where you throw the basketball all the way down the court, somebody catches it and they lay it in like it's a football play. That's the cool stuff. People love that kind of stuff because it's like it makes them remember good times and they see it renewed in the youth. Because a lot of people are worried about the old NBA people are worried that the youngsters don't really get the game or understand the fundamentals. And when you see a young player like Scotty come in that really honors and showcases the history of the game through his play and his fundamentals, that's huge. That is like showing the old vets that the game's in good hands, that the future is bright, and that there's people that are coming up that will treat the game with the respect and dedication that it deserves. And that's Scotty Barnes. What he shows to these older players, they love him. They love him because he's like them. He's doing things that they used to do that they don't see enough young players doing today. And that's why they'll love him and embrace him. G saying Pascal in his interview said Nurse was avoiding eye contact with him in the fourth and laughing about it and saying winning is the most important thing. Yeah, I was a little annoyed with Pascal with wanting to be out there so bad. Come on, man. You play so much. You're one of the most overplayed players this season, you and Fred. We've wanted you to get your minutes cut down. If you don't have to be out there, just sit for a bit. But it is good in a way that he's hungry and aggressive. He's like, I want to be out there, coach, at all times if I can be. And it is funny that Nick wouldn't look at him because he really wanted to let that crew run. And it was smart. That's what I'm saying. Once again, getting back to Nick Nurse being really smart in the way he coached. He did that. That was a gamble. He could have brought Pascal in way earlier, but he let them ride. And he got a really good run out of that particular five without Pascal out there. But then he did bring him in eventually just for insurance at the end. And the other great thing was he was fresh. Pascal could come out there and he had been burning himself all fourth quarter. He could be really fresh. And just in case Denver did make a little bit of a run to try and come back in the last 3 minutes, Pascal was fresh and able to do something himself, hopefully. And that's really good strategy and coaching. Once again, Monique saying he outcoached them. He definitely did. And that part of it was gambling with that lineup in the fourth. All right, let's keep going. And it's funny, he wouldn't look at him. Kareem Thomas is saying, I'm overlooking. Oh, okay, here we go. Here's the one. I got to get ready because I'm about to fall on the ground. LMAO, real quick, right here. I'm overlooking the retirement home Lakers. Oh my gosh. He's overlooking that game. He wants to see Gary Trent versus Norman Powell on Wednesday. Yeah, that'll be fun. Hopefully Gary won't be slumping at that point. Hopefully he'll have a good game. But it really isn't those guys against each other. It'll be fun to see Norman. It's always great to see Norman say hey to Fred, is one of his best friends, and Pascal and everybody, and OG and Norman's family. Always will be. We love Norman. But I love that first statement you said. You want to overlook the retirement home Lakers. Yes, that's who they've been all year. These old guys. We called them that at the beginning of the year, and they've shown it. They've shown that they are old as fuck, and they can't keep up with young teams. And that's who they're going to get tomorrow night when we run them off the court. Oh, yeah. Seymour Pape saying, between Jokic, Pascal, Chris, or Scotty, who had the best stat night last night? Okay. All right. From my educated opinion, all right, the four you got are the three that we had player of the game and Jokic. Okay, Jokic, 9 or 13, blah, blah, blah. Honestly, you know what I'm going to say? And you guys may really think that this is crazy. We expect what Pascal did last night to be what he did. And Scotty is really kind of just showing what he's been doing. I think it's Chris. To me, it's Chris just because the 9 rebounds were so huge. He didn't start last night. He did all of his stuff off the bench. And the other thing about Chris is he wasn't getting a lot of minutes in the couple games before. So he had to be ready, and he showed up and came a big way. 9 offensive rebounds. That stat alone makes me pick him in this situation, what you're saying. So for me personally, I am picking Chris Boucher as far as the best stat night, just solely really because of the 9 offensive rebounds and the fact that he got a really big block too. But it's real close. I'd probably put Scotty second. I put Scotty second, Pascal third, and we'll put Jokic fourth. Fuck that guy. Yeah, that dirty motherfucker. He's fourth. So it's Chris, Scotty, Pascal, Nicola. That's the order I put him in, Seymour. How about that? G saying another note about Pascal. He has been showing his team so much love. When they play well, he really shows his pride in them. Yes, he's a good papa. He's a good papa to the youngsters. Yeah, there is a lot of that all shared all around. Like they really celebrate each other in a really good way. Like you look at their Instagrams the days after games, big games like last night, all you see is like they'll post some of their highlights and they'll post their teammates' highlights. They celebrate each other, like all of them, all around. Whether it's Dubber Don, Slim Duck, Scotty B, Fred Van Vliet, Pascal, OG. They're all sharing the accolades and the love between each other. Precious. They post their achievements. Like somebody gets a triple double, they're all posting it. Stuff like that, and I love that. That is a really shared, like, supportive team. And other teams aren't like that. There's envy. There's jealousy. There's infighting. There's like selfishness. And there's not that with our team for the most part. From what it seems like, we are very unselfish and good to each other. All right, y'all. This is we're done 2 hours, 15 minutes. I've run to the end of the comments for right now. Let me go ahead and just look over the stat box real quick to make sure I didn't miss anything. Huge stats for this game. 16 points for Denver in the fourth quarter. Great defense by the Raptors, winning by 12 points in a close game back-to-back on the road against a top Western team. Pascal Siakam, fantastic. That's what we expect. That's the level we're talking about, from like the level he was at against the Suns, coming up another level against the Nuggets. Precious, huge game last night, 4 3-pointers, great job behind the line. We really should trust him. If he's shooting that ball in rhythm, he should have the green light all day. And that we should not be discouraging him from that. Scotty Barnes, oh my gosh, you want that rookie of the year? You keep doing what you did last night, 11 for 20, 10 assists, 8 rebounds, 25 points. You get 2 more rebounds, you would have had a triple-double last night, Scotty Barnes. So maybe, hey, think about getting a triple-double against the Lakers on that stage and platform, and everybody's going to be looking at you when you do that, Rook. And not to mention, like, look, you took all the big hits from Jokic and his dirty stuff, and you stayed in the game. You played big. You had steals. You had big plays on the defensive end, big rebounds at different times. Really, really huge stuff from Scotty Barnes all around. Surprising start by Armani Brooks last night. He was fine. He didn't really hurt us. I'm glad he hit one of the threes. I was hoping he'd get a bunch of threes after we saw that first three. It would have been real nice if he'd gotten another basket after that. But 22 minutes, he didn't hurt us too bad. He was pretty good rebounding for a little guard. Gary Trent, very cold last night, 2 for 13, only 8 points. But you know what? He didn't take away from us, and he did do quality things out there, even though he wasn't hitting his shot. So his defense was good, and he was doing good stuff. Thaddeus Young, fantastic off the bench, 4 for 6 from the field, 3 steals. I cannot understate the 3 steals by Thad Young. There were important ones at good times, like that Cousins one, and he did get some important baskets for us to help the bench scoring, 9 points. Boucher, I just talked about him, fantastic, 9 offensive rebounds, hit a key 3 at an important point, had 4 blocks last night. That is really, really good. 21 points, 13 rebounds, just amazing. Yuta, the cherry on top with the 3. Kem Birch shooting pretty good, 3 for 6, 8 points, 8 rebounds with 6 offensive rebounds. That Boucher Birch offensive rebounding combo, 15 offensive rebounds last night. That is insane. And then Delano, really, really good sound team defense with the team in the fourth quarter. He got 1 nice basket, 5 assists though. He's being a playmaker and just doing nice things in the positionless scheme. And the other side, it was really, I don't even want to look at the other guys or anything that they did. Who cares? Who cares what the Nuggets did? They didn't do anything good compared to us. So that's what I'm saying. Let's see. Monique's saying, I will always say this, but Chris Boucher was homeless at one point, and all the success and showing Brittany Grenier love. Yes. Yeah, keep in perspective, Chris has built himself into the man that he is now. He's just a badass. I love Chris so much. And it was really cool that he mentioned Brittany in the post-game interview, because this is something we need to keep putting attention on and get something to happen about. I brought it up earlier. Alistair, I appreciate your compliment. It's very nice. And Monique saying, Team Boucher gets the flowers for this one. Sure. Yeah, Birch was plus 19. Yeah, that's that. He was our best plus guy for sure. Plus 19 for Birch, plus 15 for Banton, plus 15 for Boucher, plus 12 for Young, and plus 15 for Barnes. And who were those five? Those were the five in the fourth. And that's why they were our plus minus leaders because of that great job that they did. Let's see what else is here. Shout out to the 905. Yeah, that was a great game. Reggie Perry hitting the 3-pointer at the end of the game. It was cool watching that game and going right into the Nuggets game right afterwards. A great doubleheader of Raptors basketball with the 905 beating Lakeland Magic last night and the Raptors beating the Nuggets. Just a great night all around. All right, Tom Duke, thanks so much. Let's go Raptors Nation. All right, Lakers tomorrow night. LeBron, yeah, we'll do a proper preview about it tomorrow. I'll have the real mascot matchup. I'll have the keys to victory and a most updated injury report at that time. All right, y'all. Thanks for watching me. Please like, comment, subscribe. If you like anything I said, please hit that red subscribe button. I'm trying to get to 1,000 subscribers because then YouTube opens up all kinds of cool things that I can do with my channel. So thanks again for being here. 2.5 hours is a long time, and I appreciate y'all sitting here with me. If you don't watch my stream live with me, go ahead and watch it. When you watch it back later, watch it at 1.25 speed. It can go by a lot faster, and you can hear me just as clearly. I'm actually kind of funnier with the faster speed on my voice. All right, y'all. Thanks for watching. Let's go, Raptors. We're badasses. We are badasses, y'all. We are badasses, y'all.